Let's do it. Let's do it.
I thought you did it.
Welcome to the show. Let's see what has been happening in the wrestling world. Welcome to the show, where comedy meets wrestling by fans for fans. The two counts, always the best guests in Midwest. The two counts, wait time guaranteed because we're the best of the best. Meet Phoenix and JR, Top Shelf Tommy, we're about to start. Welcome to the two counts. It's time to dig deep into the wrestling world. Welcome to the two counts, where comedy meets wrestling by fans for fans. The two counts.
The Two Count.
The two count.
Where comedy meets wrestling. Please comment, share, like, and start a hype train for God's sakes. And now, here are the hosts of The Two Count. Comedian John Russell, wrestling broadcaster Big Ace, and everybody's favorite heel, Top Shelf Tommy.
Yeah, baby. Oops. Oh my God, you guys. What a world. What a world we live in. There we go. Hooray. Right. Jeez, oh Peters. I gotta tell you this before we go too far. Remember a couple of weeks ago when I left my computer somewhere?
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Did exactly the same thing today.
Oh my God, no, you did not.
I did. Although I went to Eden Prairie first and left it there first. And then drove to Oakdale and was like, shit.
What a terrible fucking commute. Eden Prairie to Oakdale?
Yeah.
Oh. What is it with Eden Prairie and you leaving your computer there, man?
I don't know. I think it's just too easy.
I was going to say, is there an attractive gal that works there and you're just like, I'm preoccupied?
No, actually not. Oh my. Yes, we'll be talking about the old Mr. Brookie.
Heartless hypocrite. Jeez, Mike. That's coming in hot, Mr. Friesen.
Yeah, baby. We will talk about that. We will talk about all this stuff, and I will just say in a general term, I was pretty happy with the Survivor Series, and in particular, those War Games matches were fire.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't disagree at all.
I was super happy with that. So I'll be excited to talk about that when NUR-D comes in. And just so for those of you who are here waiting for NUR-D, he will be here shortly. He, of course, has a lot of things to promote. And certainly, being a friend of the show, we will obviously give him leeway to promote with other venues, mediums, where he sees fit. And plus, he's our pal, so we don't mind.
Nope, we don't. We understand he's giving us his time. It's as valuable as ever right now. He's in the midst of getting another album ready and then also getting ready for the Minnesota Orchestra shows on, it's WrestleMania weekend, but it's the Friday and Saturday. So, looking forward to it, though.
Freak! Personally, I thought about going to AEW on the 29th. It is too late for me, personally. I can still watch it on TV and go to bed at a reasonable hour.
True.
I can't go to the show and then get up when I'm supposed to get up to work. And I've already got dude, I'm old. Right there, it says oldest guy on Twitch under my name. But yeah, what happens is, on the 30th, yeah, I could do that. On the 30th, I have to work my whole schedule because I have a show up the address is listed as Princeton, but it's actually in a little town called Santiago. Which
Oh, I love me some Santiago.
you been there?
I've been through there. It's a nice little town.
NUR-D!
Hey! Oh my goodness! It's the 2 count.
We're
That's
happy
right.
to see good old NUR-D here.
It's good to see y'all, everybody, on the toppiest of shelves.
That's
We
right.
out here tonight.
Dude,
Ooh.
man, I am always so happy to see you, mostly because it irritates these two to no end that you were part of Team Top Shelf. But
you know we gotta be on the top every time. What's going on?
oh, dude, obviously you
Yo.
have been a very busy man, so we appreciate you getting your time in with us.
Oh, are
Talking
you
some
kidding
wrestling.
me? The best wrestling podcast in existence.
Oh,
you
you
know
are
I
so
gotta jump on it.
You
You know
are
I gotta
so
jump on it. Oh no, it's real. There's who else? There's no one else talking about wrestling, right? It's just us. It's just the 4 of us.
pretty much.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
There we
Well,
go.
and I mean, we
That's
always
more
got
balanced right there.
Way to go. Way to go.
Oh wait, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. All right. Oh, so 2 count. What do you want to talk about?
I mean, it all just worked out perfectly, huh?
It's
we
wild. I think the last time, like we were like, "Hey, jump on!" I think it was we did Survivor Series last year as well, and I was here post Survivor Series, so that's really funny.
Yeah, you've kind of become our like post WWE pay-per-view premium live event guest or correspondent, if you could say. We always say there's a few people that we've gotten to the point now where like it's not really a guest anymore. It's like you're just the friend of the show. You're part of the show.
I like
And you're
I
a
like being
regular,
a
yeah.
correspondent. I like that. I like that title.
Yeah, man. So we got you and 2 others that we consider basically family on this show. So it's always a blast. But man,
Oh, hey, what's up, Rapture? No, yeah, that the opening for Ludacris was a dope show. That was a lot of fun.
what was that, Mystic?
Yep, Mystic Lake.
Which, by the way, hopefully, did you have a great Thanksgiving?
I did have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Nice,
It was
nice.
delicious. It was fantastic. We had all the correct foods prepared in the correct way. And it was a very good time. It was a lot of I realized that I'm that uncle now. Like I'm the uncle who lays on the couch when he's done eating and just lays down.
Yeah.
And like my nieces came up to me and they like patted my belly the other day. They're like, "I like your tub," and I was like, "Oh, I'm that uncle already." Like it's happened. It is official.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It happens to everybody, man. Like I
does.
was this close to being that guy this year, man. So much food.
Yeah. I
And
just
just-
had to lay down. I just didn't know what else to do. I was like, "Oh, let's see." It called to me like a
Right.
siren, and I laid down, and I was like, "Dang, well, my childhood is over. I am now officially the uncle who gets tired after he eats."
Right.
So
The,
turkey
yeah.
is turkey is obviously the star of Thanksgiving, but
That's
what's
what
your favorite side, NUR-D?
I'm gonna say this right now. I think that turkey has been supplanted. I think this turkey has been supplanted. Now, maybe this might be a cultural difference, and that's just fine. But for me and my house,
We will serve the Lord. I feel like
there is a deity, hallelujah, that is the. Let me preach for the holiday that is Thanksgiving. There is one that stands out above all the rest. While the turkey must, in fact, be present, it is required. I think the star of the show is mac and cheese. I think if the mac and cheese is not slapping, that is what people talk about. A turkey can be like if it's a moist turkey, great. If it's a dry turkey, oh, you'll do better luck next year. You only do one of these a year, right? But for some reason, if the mac and cheese is not hitting, it is like there's like a malaise that falls across the table where everyone's sort of just like, well, all right. Like it's not like it's still a good time, but if the mac and cheese does not bring a smile to your face, I think the day is affected by it.
Yep.
And so I think it's mac and cheese has supplanted itself. You know what I mean? As the as the game, as it were, uh, of the Thanksgiving evolutionary table.
So I don't claim to be on your level, but try this out.
Ooh,
If the mac and cheese ain't slapping, Thanksgiving don't happen.
Ooh, there it is.
You can use it for free.
That's why we're here, and that's why I have. For those of you who don't know, my ghostwriter Jr. Has most of my discography has had this man's hand in it. And
I will say this: if that ends up in a song, 1, bravo.
There it
2,
is.
I'm going to be very happy for JR because he's going to have something to hang his hat on other than just comedy.
It's much better than eating snow with Nestle's Quick on it.
Yeah,
your Nesquik snow cones and shit.
Which, by the way, Thanksgiving didn't happen for me because we had no snow for me to make my ice cream.
Oh, okay. That's
interesting.
I don't even know what that means.
I
don't know what that means.
Wait, Nerdy, have you not actually heard the story of this?
No.
No, you were here.
Was this last year?
Yeah, it was like a year ago. JR was telling us about how his mom for dessert would give them snow and put that's quick powder on it.
Oh, yes.
And we didn't know.
We out here for our we lived below a certain means energy, and I'm out here for that. That's amazing. I want everyone to know that next time you think about your bank account, I want you to ask yourself, have you ever not had dessert because there wasn't snow outside? If the answer is no, you're doing pretty well.
Let's be honest. It was also still Nesquik. It wasn't like it was bargain basement Walmart knockoff brand.
But that's
Cocoa
where
mix.
you get. That's where the little splurging comes in. We all know that every now and then, all of us in the community of lower income peoples know the day where you walk to the cereal aisle and you actually got to take home like Fruity Pebbles as opposed to Fruit Flakes in the plastic bag. And that was when somebody had a good week.
Multi-meal cereals, baby.
Yeah. So
when I had actual Tony the Tiger, it was amazing.
See, there it is. And that's what it is. So I feel like every now and then you have Nesquik in the house, and it's the premium stuff. It's the thing that everyone talks about. It's Thanksgiving. We're gonna bust out a little bit of that Nesquik before the snow melts outside. Oh, that's amazing.
JR, you must really hate spring.
It brings the end of the snow ice cream season.
Oh man. Let me ask you guys this. What's the one thing that can go from the table at Thanksgiving?
Ooh, there you go. Oh my goodness.
I'm going to say it because I think a lot of people just don't want it anymore. Cranberries of any kind, man. Like they're nice. They're nice, but I think those can go. And I will say this: like I did not have sweet potatoes until like my brother is married to a gal from Texas. I go down there, and it's having sweet potatoes now with like the marshmallows on top. I don't know how I lived without it, to be real.
Yeah,
I eat so many servings of that. It's like just like I know how I'm getting much larger is because I'm eating sweet potatoes on. If I make it down for Thanksgiving and that's served on Christmas too, I'm like. But I would say cranberries just because, well, you got so many other things, like you got the green bean casserole, you got corn, probably potatoes, sweet potatoes, mac and cheese, turkey, ham, like stuffing. What else? Like,
I think a lot of it though too depends on how a given side is prepared.
Fair,
true.
I generally am not a fan of stuffing, but at my son's house,
me and you are on the same page right now, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not a stuffing
at my
guy.
son's house, though, somebody made stuffing with sausage in it, and I was like, "That's not really stuffing, but I'm digging it."
Thanks, Dan, for the bits.
So we have something like that, but we call that dressing instead of stuffing because then we still do stove for the stove top.
Yeah,
that's the best.
Shout out Logan.
Yes, Logan.
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
You know what though, Jay? You're right with that though because it is how it's prepared. Like for me, I don't like sweet potatoes at Thanksgiving, but I'll eat like an empanada with sweet potato and love
Yeah.
it. It's just I don't like them hot.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
Dude, you would love the at Kyoto Sushi up here. You would love the sweet potato roll. It's a sushi roll with
Interesting.
sweet potato, and it's delicious.
I'm in.
We can just do anything we want. We
Mhm.
can just make it
Yeah,
whatever we
right.
want happen. So there's
You want the
sushi
sweet potato?
with sweet potato. Yeah,
I
make it
would
happen.
love to have sushi with some snow and Nestle Quick in it. It would
I
be
feel like
delicious.
you just insulted an entire people.
I'm gonna mute your mic here, JR. Fuck you.
He
You're gonna say
said
shit like
sushi
this.
with snow and Nesquik. Somebody in the comments, buy JR a sandwich, please.
He's just hungry now. That's all he's saying.
Uh,
I want him to have a delicious, balanced meal. Every time he talks about this, it makes me sad. Nesquik and snow is still amazing.
I hope someday we do a live show and just people just bring you a bunch of Nesquik.
I just
It'd be fine.
oh, he's the official sponsor. Ooh, oh, there it is.
That's nice.
Minnesota
There it
United
is.
right there.
Oh yeah, I don't have my outfit on. I have some Minnesota United gear. I've been lucky enough to play for them a few times. So we out here, Wonderwall. For the
Dude,
win.
for real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, you got some cool stuff. So hopefully people took advantage of Black Friday sale for your show at the Minnesota.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'm doing a major show with the Minnesota Orchestra on April 5th and 6th. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to be seeing a whole lot more about it. That being said, the Friday show, that 5th, is selling out. I think we're like real close, probably the end of the year here. We're probably not going to have a whole lot of seats left. So if you're a wrestling fan, which I know you are because you're watching this, get your Friday tickets, because best believe me, as soon as the 6th show is done, I'm not shaking hands. I'm not talking to nobody. I am leaving. I told him that. I said, you do know night 1 of WrestleMania is going to be on the 6th, so I'm going to be leaving after I'm done. I know it's the final show, so if you want to say goodbye to me, it's going to have to be on Friday.
Dude, that's exactly why I bought the Friday night ticket. Is because I was like, I can't miss night 1.
You can't miss night 1. You never know. Well,
I was like, I love a NUR-D homies,
yeah.
but I was like,
Nah,
I gotta go to that Friday show.
And that's why I'm telling everybody, get your Friday show, please. Because that's not to say that if you've chosen to buy a ticket on the 6th and you've just remembered that it's night 1 of WrestleMania, please still come. I'm just saying that, like,
Or give your tickets to somebody who is not a wrestling fan.
Yeah. Or
And buy for
what?
Friday.
If enough of you message me and tell me that you're upset that you're going to miss night 1, I will have them set up a television in the lobby. And after the end of the show, we'll all sit down and watch it together.
Oh my
I
god!
have that kind of power that they shouldn't have given me. And so for those 2 days, I basically could just do what I want. So we could just do that.
Oh my god, that would be amazing to watch you perform with the Minnesota Orchestra and then a watch along of Mania immediately after.
Just we'll bring down the projector that they do for the movies.
That's
when
what I was
they
going
play
to
the
say.
movies, and then we're just sitting in there.
Oh
watching
man.
night
You're
one.
not even singing anymore. You're just like, you all play. I'm watching this.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's cool.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. Like,
Watch
that's
it
what I want.
accidentally be the best score to a WrestleMania ever.
Watch. Like we'll play
Ooh.
everybody's entrance music.
Ooh.
We'll get the line out. They'll play it all on. I'm
I would
not
say
gonna
this.
lie to you. I've been thinking about trying to get the orchestra involved in some wrestling out here. They seem into it. So who knows? Every time I go to a weird place, I go to a lot of like different events, corporate events,
Yeah.
like kind of fancier things like the orchestra. And they're like, we really want to like do what you do. And I'm like, it would be fun if you just threw professional wrestling in here. And everyone laughs. And I go like, I'm telling you right now, it's always a good time. It'll always.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it would be That would be insane. But I will say this: if there's any way to get Tyler Breeze to wrestle night 1, and that screen is on, and all of a sudden like, hold on, just next song.
Next song, we're making it happen. Oh man, I hope, my hope is that, because I know that, first of all, I know we're about to get into Survivor Series, one of the biggest Survivor Series to happen. I will say, okay, no, I'll say this: I used to always think that it was lame that Survivor Series was considered to be one of the big four. I used to always, like, under my breath, I would always be like, SummerSlam makes sense, Royal Rumble makes sense, WrestleMania makes perfect sense. Survivor Series never made sense to me as why this is considered a big deal. The last 2 Survivor Series have, especially with the addition of War Games, have really sort of, like, for me, been like, oh no, this is a big one. I don't know why it's a big one. There's no real reason for it, but we've just decided it's a big one. And so, we're going to talk about it. Talk about it. We have to. I lost my place in my own mind because I was so excited about Survivor Series.
Well,
and it was
you
good too. It was good. JR said it before we were live, before you hopped on, that he was just happy all around with the show, and I think most people could agree.
Yeah, it honestly, I felt like it was a show that they took 2 seconds to ask themselves, will people like what we're going to do? Like, which you think is to be something that they do every time, but they don't. And so, like, the fact that you're watching it going like, yo, I think this is all really good. Like, are they really purposely making a good show just to do it? The answer was yes. And it was, I have very few negative notes. Very, 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 very few negative notes.
I got a few negative notes as well, but we'll get into that obviously as we get going. So
I'm going to show the match cards really, really quickly just so we can refresh minds. Of course, this wasn't actually Carlito. It was it Dragon Lee?
It was Dragon Lee.
Basically, it was a squash match.
Yeah, it was.
I assume this is setting something up with Carlito then. I didn't actually see if there's any explanation to why he didn't. I mean, I know the storyline was he was in, so that was legit then. That stinks because, man, so pumped for Carlito to be back in WWE.
Me too. I will say this, and again, there's a whole group of people who might feel differently. I'm disappointed about the LWO as a whole. I think that them slapping that name, and I really do mean slapping, and I mean like they just threw it on these people. While it was cool in Backlash in Puerto Rico, I think that was really like a really cool cultural moment. Outside of that, what has it done? What has it actually done for any of the people involved?
Well, that's a very good point.
Absolutely nothing. And like, if the end, again, as a fan of the Bullet Club, I think of the NWO very highly, even with how it ended. And with the LWO being an offshoot of that, and kind of not even a big deal when they were doing it originally, I think that it was a shame, and it is a shame that the LWO feels like they couldn't beat anyone.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like they couldn't beat anyone. You have something with the pedigree, the historical foundation of a group that's already existed, full of people who are legends, aping a very popular, very influential stable, but now they're just people who happen to be Hispanic or Latino in some way. And that is really kind of, they couldn't beat anybody in WCW either. And so to me, I'm just like, why are we just throwing this name on here if we're not going to have it increase their like winnability in some way?
Yeah, it's not progressing any of their career right now.
No.
Yeah, and I mentioned it last week. The LWO was originally supposed to be a heel stable in WCW, as you know, as mentioned, yeah, they didn't beat anybody. Thank you, Dan. They didn't beat anybody in WCW. They kept their job. It was literally just to keep their jobs or try to get more lucha matches
Yeah,
on like Monday night
stuff. Yeah,
And
but
you
like,
know, for
it was
me,
Eddie's it's Eddie's vehicle to try and get more airtime, which it would have worked.
Right.
And if you're gonna bring it back now, Dominic should have been the one to fucking bring it back. Like if he leaves Judgment Day and like down the road, that would have been something. But like to
Ooh,
my
that's
real
really good
father.
and I was just gonna say,
yeah,
like,
that's really good.
right, and I like Zelina. I like so much more as a heel.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she works better as a heel.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like that, it would have been a better fit. You know, make that go heel, all that.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Rapture. No, who? What happened?
Punk.
There are a lot of punks in the audience.
Yeah,
They had
yeah.
lousy signs. And
Oh wait,
We'll-
real quick,
we'll cover that,
real
obviously.
quick. Jump back into before we jump into the next match. One of my few critiques was that I love Dragon Lee, and I wish he didn't have to lose that match.
Yeah.
Though I know that he had to lose that match because
Right.
otherwise, Escobar, why are you turning heel? So like,
Yep.
it would have been. This is gonna sound bad, and I don't mean it that way. It would have been better if you took one of the other members of Del Fantasma and put them in instead of Dragon Lee, because Dragon Lee is supposed to be our new. And again, I don't like using this language. Is supposed to be our new lucha guy. He's supposed to be our new Ray. Like, I know that he's not. I know that it's not. He's his own person. But like, masked babyface lucha guy, that is Dragon Lee. That's what they're saying. And I've only kind of seen him lose. Like, and so I'm kind of just like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're building up this new. And he doesn't like jump up out of the stage like Ray. He doesn't do anything that looks interesting.
They've had a rough run with the Latin wrestlers. These
They
last
really
couple
have.
years. Really, because you look at Herberto out, but he went through that like weird overly baby face into the heel thing. I mean, you go back to, like. You go back to I was just gonna say you go back to the Sin Cara days and how that just didn't work. There was and for some reason I'm kind of blanking on it, but then there was someone else.
Kalisto.
Well, Kalisto also.
Yeah.
He's in AEW now. Charlotte's husband.
Oh yeah,
Andrade
almost. Yeah.
I mean, there's Andrade. I mean, like all these guys should have been were really trying to make the next big Latin guy, and none of it's ever really stuck.
And I think it's because they don't want luchadors.
No,
they don't want luchadors. They don't like it. It's for whatever reason, it just isn't their bag. And which is weird because they dressed Ricochet in all these superhero outfits and told him to fly around, which is he's good at, mind you. But it's just like, if you want that, there is an entire group of people who are planned to do that. Like, that's already what they want to do. So just like let them do that. Why are you forcing Ricochet to be that guy when you could have Dragon Lee do that? You could have had Kalisto do that, and they sort of did. The Lucha Bros, like the original, like the Lucha, like the original ones.
Lucha House Party.
Lucha House Party. Thank you, Lucha. I always want to say Lucha Brothers because that's those two other guys. But Lucha House Party. It started to like be that, but then again, they just sort of were like piñatas, and it's just like, what is happening? So ultimately, that match was good for Escobar. Like he needs to win and be dominant. I think he needs to face the Del Fantasma guys, as opposed to our new person who could come in later and be like a hero coming in, but he needs to be like, hey. What has Ray gotten you that I didn't get you when we were in NXT? Like tell that story. I don't need to see him beat someone that I'm supposed to think is the next big thing. Just have him, and not to say that those wrestlers don't deserve their spotlight, but they would serve more. It's like how Roman Reigns beating Jay made Jay better because he was in a story, even though he didn't win. If that makes any sense. So that's
absolutely.
All I want to say about that match is one of my few critiques of the show.
Yeah, I thought it could have been longer. And it's funny because, you know, obviously even with Hispanic wrestlers in WWE, this goes even back to like Conan signing there and then quickly leaving because they wanted to put him as Max Moon. So And Conan is one of the all-time great luchadors as far as like heavyweight luchadors, and you want to put him as a spaceman from the moon? Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like, that's not gonna fucking work, man.
They don't understand the culture.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's to their detriment because Lucha provides such rich history and storytelling that's been going on for generations, like literal generations of people. Like you could be tapping into that, and now they're going elsewhere because they don't feel respected. And it's like, yeah, like I would do the same thing. So
Yep.
I wish them the best, and I hope everybody in the LWO gets their moment in the sun, like how the Bloodline's getting theirs right now. Like in all the Anai family and the Samoan lineage that's been around in WWE for quite some time. I'm glad that they're getting their moment to show why they're great. I hope Lucha is on its heels because I feel like WWE could really use it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Preach.
All right. Gunther.
Hallelujah.
We got Gunther and Miz for the icy tie. I enjoyed this match. I enjoy the Miz. Yeah. I enjoy the Miz, and it was great to see him in a. They use him a lot for some of the cornier stuff, or just for whoever is like hanging out for the month. So it was nice to see him get thrown into something where you get to see that serious side, but see that we're seeing veteran Miz now.
I love the Miz. I think the Miz, if you could count the number of MVPs of WWE on one hand, the Miz is on that hand. He will always deliver exactly what you need him to every time. Do you need a goofy guy to get beat up by whatever celebrity is showing up that week? Miz will do it, and it'll make it seem real. Do you need someone who's like a genuine threat for the world title? Miz will do it. Like you know what I mean? Like he is a perfect what's the word? Position player. You can put him in anything you need him to, and he'll tag team, head of a stable, goofy person, selling merchandise, hosting a show. Like he is a Hall of Fame franchise player, and they need to do whatever they can to keep him happy because that was a fun ass match. And I literally said to my brother when we were watching, and I said, either one of these men could win tonight.
Yep.
Either one of these men could win tonight. I would have been fine with either. I would have been fine with either. Oh yeah. Do we need you to take a people's elbow from Snoop Dogg? Sure. Like I got you. Like he's calling it out in the ring. You saw him. He was like, hit me, and like do something. Like you know what I mean?
It's great.
Triple H even touched on that in the press conference. He, got asked, or he talked about that match and said, yeah, Miz just does everything for us, man. I mean, just does what we need. And, he literally showed this match that, yeah, you're right. Either one of them could have won.
Yeah. And you want to see good things for him because you hear his struggles when he first started, not being taken serious, breaking weird little rules that, maybe
high school
exactly stuff. And then you also think about when he held the title and when he main evented WrestleMania 27, it really was overshadowed. And he knows that, and he also smoked his head on that metal grating flooring of the stadium that night too. Like he totally got concussed off that main event match where it wasn't even about him. So it's like whenever you see him get these chances, or like when he went off on him going off on Daniel Bryan will always be like a Hall of Fame
talking smack. Yeah.
Like that was just amazing.
I say this all the time, with the exception of potentially Honky Tonk Man and Chris Jericho. There is nobody that and this is including Gunter, real talk. When I think of the Intercontinental Championship, with the outside of Honky Tonk Man, Chris Jericho, one of the first people in my mind is The Miz, because he really cared about the Intercontinental Championship and made sure you knew it. Yep. Like you made sure you knew that this title was important. And anytime he held that title, which was a lot, I think it's 8 right now. I think he's at 8. He makes it like like the never-ending Miz title reign. Like his whole bit is fun. I almost like seeing him with the Intercontinental Championship more than I like seeing him with a World Championship, to be honest, because he seems to care more about it.
Yeah, right.
What kind of comment is that? Who cares about Dancing with the Stars?
All of his fans do, you fuck.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
He killed
That's
it
fair.
apparently. He
Dance
Well,
with the Stars is the best.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, so if I think of moments as far as Intercontinental, I always think of like Warrior's yellow strap belt.
Mm.
But I also think, I always think of like Mr. Perfect is in that realm with like Jericho and Honky.
You remember when there was a time where the trend was if you got the IC title, you basically were being groomed to get that next step up.
It was the second. It was the second one. It was the closest.
And unfortunately, it's not the way. I liked it because I felt it was always a good arc to those careers. Then
Shout out here.
What up?
Really?
What's up?
Demonic Dad.
The Demonic Dad.
We out here. No, but I agree. I think one of the things that, again, we talk about titles, talk about championships. Speaking of which, the United States Championship was on Survivor Series, but that's one of my few rule things.
Mm-hmm.
The Intercontinental Championship was always the silver medal in my mind. Before you outside of WWE and World Heavyweight being like two separate titles, they both were the gold to me, if that made sense. Yep. You got to either one of those, you were the top. But the Intercontinental Championship was always the one that was next up.
Mm-hmm. And
so Miz sort of being that gatekeeper to the main event. Like the idea, like how Cassius Ohno was the gatekeeper of NXT for a while. Like if you couldn't get past him, you really didn't deserve to be here. Like if you couldn't put on a good match with Cassius Ohno, with Grizzly, then you probably aren't going to put on a good match.
No.
That's what I feel Miz is in real talk. If you can't put on a good match with the Miz, the person who will do essentially anything you need him to do, like outside of like death matches,
right? Yeah.
Like he
wheelhouse, wheelhouse.
Yeah, wheelhouse. As long as you don't want him to drink your blood like a freaking maniac, like he's pretty much good to go. Like so,
right.
And the reason why I kind of wanted Miz to win just a little bit more than I wanted Gunther to win was specifically because I think Gunther should be moving up to the world title picture. And so I was hoping, because it would make sense, especially with the low blow. It made sense to me. And with Imperium sort of kind of been pushed to the background of what Gunther is about, and he's no longer the guy who has a bunch of guys like running up and like cheating to win. Like I kind of hoped that Miz kicks him in the nuts, wins his 9th Intercontinental Championship reign to tie for the most ever. You know what I mean? And then Gunther goes on to face Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, that was before the night ended and people arrived that kind of changed a whole lot of where I think people should be in certain places. But we'll talk about that as it comes.
Mikey Tulmix with the comment here. Black Kid, White Town. That video is awesome.
Hey, thank you.
It certainly is.
M2M, you're a good one. Ooh, I love this. I love how Logan's on the show. Y'all, if y'all haven't talked to Logan already, y'all need to get Logan on the show because he knows more about wrestling than me. Yeah,
Logan is a great dude. Checked out his channel yesterday. He was, doing some edits on some songs as well. So
we're a big fan of the only Logan TV universe.
We're gonna try and raid him after this. Not to surprise him or anything like that.
Logan, open up your allow raids on your channel because I can't get to it.
Ooh, there you go, Logan. Don't be missing on this opportunity.
NUR-D is my guy. Yes, he is. Always.
Hell yeah. But
I have a pleasure of actually working with Logan, so that's how I actually know him. So
there we go. Logan's cool. He's having his show. GPW.
GPW.
I want to make sure I say the right thing. But like all that to say, Gunther winning is a perfectly, works. Give him longer reign. That's fine. It doesn't, that it's not a huge deal, especially with Elimination Chamber coming up. If he loses it there, that's fine. He's already got the record, so I don't want more of that. If that makes any sense, he's got the record already.
Plus, he needs to be in the Rumble.
He needs to be in the Rumble. So like, let's
Yeah, because his performance last year in the Rumble was fantastic.
It was amazing.
I mean, he has to be in it.
He has to be in it. So, but and him being the Intercontinental Champion while he's in it, while cool, I'm of the persuasion that in every of the big four, and then also Night of Champions, as that is the point of that entire pay-per-view. Every championship that can be defended should be. Like if it's in the big four, like the ones that you tell everybody are the most important, I think that championships should be defended in the big four. So like
100%.
And Night of Champions, because again, that's the point of that pay-per-view. But like, so the fact that we didn't see the tag team championships up for grabs, the United States Championship up for grabs, the WWE women's title, granted, that's its own thing because of that match. So that's kind of like that's a wash. But we didn't see the women's tag team championships defended. It just sort of is like they make the titles feel less important. And so the Gunther is elevated the Intercontinental Championship to a big way. Whoever wins that off of him is going to be great. Since it wasn't Gable, the Miz could have been the one to do it. But since it's not the Miz, I honestly don't know who you do.
It'll be Jey Uso probably. He'll have to take a step back. I mean, I know he has the match next Monday. Spoiler alert, by the way, with Seth Rollins. But I think maybe he slides back down, takes that as the top single title that he'll probably end up getting. Like, I mean, realistically, Jey Uso's doing great, but I don't know if he's the top guy.
Oh no, I don't think.
I have some ideas on that IC title, but we'll touch on my idea later.
Yeah,
it involves getting through the rest of this.
Okay, yeah, we have to get the rest of the night. Gotcha.
We then had Rhea Ripley and the Zoe Starks. I'll tell you what, good showing from Zoe Starks. I mean, she's way too soon for her to like get a title right now. I was very surprised she even has the match. But good for her. It was all right. I don't know.
Well,
it just again, I don't know. There's just no need for it, really. I think.
Well,
and it just made no sense. Why is Zoe like? There's no story to it. Like they just did a battle royal and Zoe won, like the week before, 2 weeks before. I don't know. They got to figure some shit out in the women's division. That's all I'm saying.
I think this was honestly put there, and again, watching it, you heard Michael Cole say like right before it started, like Zoe Stark's going off at like over 800. I'm like, okay, like is this a DraftKings fucking pick? Like, hey, how can we get people to bet on this shit, man? Like, it's like it's one of those weird ones. She did great, but we talked about it last week. I didn't understand why she was there. We all knew she wasn't going to win based off of how her trajectory has been. But she impressed. But in my mind, WWE fucked it up last night and having her lose to Nia Jax. Like, God damn it.
I will say this about Rhea Ripley and her run as the women's world heavyweight champion. Until you can show me someone who can realistically out popular this woman, I will never believe you are going to take that title off of her. This woman, she is the most followed member of the WWE universe on social media outside of The Rock. And if you think about that, that's huge. Rhea Ripley just walking out is the reason why some people buy tickets. It's like you can't show me a thing that doesn't have a story. You can't give me something that doesn't have a build. You cannot put just anybody in this match against this woman and tell me That it's who knows? I know. All right, I know.
Mhm.
Like Zoe's. As soon as I forgot that even had happened. So when I'm watching pay-per-view and they're like, up next we got Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark. I said, who put this woman in this match?
Put this one up.
That's ridiculous. Might as well just go home. Like, we could have, honestly, real talk, we could have just had Rhea come out, did her entrance, and leave. Like it's that's what we wanted. If that's what you wanted to do, you just do that. You
don't lose the title on a 10 count. So
just have her just come out, do her entrance, and then just leave. And leave Zoe Starks in the ring, walk off with her title, get disqualified. Don't even insult me with thinking that Zoe Starks is going to beat Rhea Ripley at Survivor Series because she won a Battle Royal. This isn't Jinder Mahal. Nobody's believing that is going to happen.
Oh man, yeah, it was rough. But who can
I will
be
say this though? Well, I was going to say, I think some of the talent they have in NXT, like Tiffany is very popular down there.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. And she's not the smallest gal that they have on that roster. So bringing her up with her popularity, obviously she's very attractive. So there's some of that social media following, but she would be a realistic threat for a title. I don't know if it'd be that title right away, but somewhere in that mix.
That's good though. Tiffany is fantastic. It'd be hard because you'd have to turn her face.
Right. Yeah.
Which her character wouldn't work face.
No.
So that would be really interesting. I think.
What do you mean? Mean Barbie can't be a face? What are you talking
about? Mean Barbie. I'm mean Barbie. I say all the things that you shouldn't say.
Yeah. I'm in the back of my head. I'm saying things about poor people.
Yeah.
like oh, okay. Like that's kind of what that character feels like. But
mean Barbie. I love that.
I won't go, I'm not going to treat that out because
that's good. That's the whole thing. But it's not wrong. It's not wrong for the character arc. I will say this. I know we'll talk about the match that they're in later. You know who I think could conceivably beat Rhea Ripley, especially if you do it during like a crumbling Judgment Day storyline? Kairi Sane.
Yeah,
I had a feeling that's what you're going to say, especially with how she's been received coming back.
Yeah, I think like if you made this is what I think, which has never been done before, and I think it'd be interesting. I think all these women deserve it. We've never had a stable of women who've held all their version of the titles. So if you had Dakota Kai and I guess Asuka, since Bayley's got to be the odd woman out. If you had Asuka and Dakota Kai win the tag team championships for Damage Control, and then you had Brock Lesnar, yes, or
Brock
you had
Lesnar has the WWE World Women's Title.
No, unfortunately, that would only happen if Bianca Belair won the title. Then Brock Lesnar would show up.
Yeah.
And if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Brock Lesnar comes back for two things: money and making sure that these particular people don't carry championships for very long. Like that's his only goal in life. Oh no. If Bianca Belair gets the title, watch out. That's all I'm saying. She better watch her back because Brock Lesnar is coming for her. Anyway, Kairi
Good
Sane,
shit.
yes, good shit. Kairi, I work with these people. I probably shouldn't be saying all this. Kairi Sane, is amazing. Her new sort of like, is she? Like what is she about energy, the mysteriousness, because she's still sort of doing the pirate thing, but you're not quite sure if, like, is she doing the pirate thing? And so like something about that is fun, and I'd like to see a version where they have the women's tag team titles, they have the women's WWE title, and then they have the women's world heavyweight title, and they're like, we are the version of this that the men have been getting since the dawn of time.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
And then you can turn Bailey, into the mega face, the mega baby face that Randy Orton was when he beat Triple H.
Now, can you make Bailey go back to the hugger, or is the
Yeah.
hugger done?
I think you could for one night. I think what you could do would be like, the other members of Damage Control win their titles, right? We're the best, Bailey, hold our bags, essentially, for weeks. The trash Bailey, Bailey in the match. We'll talk about the match. She's just being treated badly. And then at the moment of like, I'm fighting back, she, goes through the rosters, she stings and the WOs them. So she shows up, beats them up, fighting, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, either Io Sky or Kairi Sane are like, hey, me and you one-on-one at WrestleMania, blah, 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 blah. At that WrestleMania, you have her bring out the inflatable people and have her come out one. I wouldn't keep doing it, but like have her come out like the Finn Balor demon once on a very special occasion. Maybe even get that girl, Izzy, who liked her a whole bunch.
Yeah, she's wrestling now.
She's wrestling now.
Yeah, she's on the indies.
So bring her in to like be like, I have friends, and like Izzy comes in and like defends her from the, and she's her manager. So even if you don't want her to wrestle, like you can have her like be in her corner.
It's funny you say this because like I get that girl when she was little like really was into Bailey and all that, but like she then started doing like YouTube and stuff and was like at those shows. Like you gotta think WWE's had a hand in this girl's like career the whole time because they are hoping to do the whole she's gonna wrestle Bailey at some point.
Well, they did that with AJ Lee and Lita, like just real briefly there as far as like AJ crying when she was a kid
but it wasn't as documented as this one is,
because that was from like
this has been on air.
Yeah, like she was front row at like all their tapings. Like this was
with the side ponytail and the
she was a part of storylines. They like had her written in storylines. So like
because Sasha Banks stole the bow or something like that. Yeah.
So I honestly think that if you had her come in as just like, even if it was just like a Stephen Amell sort of like, I'm on the sidelines or I'm here to help to make sure that they don't cheat against you, like I'll swing a kendo stick or something. I don't know. Like have her do that. Bailey comes out for one night only. She comes back with the inflatable people. She doesn't have to do the side pony or anything. Maybe she puts her hair up in a side pony during the match. You know what I mean? Like she's fighting. Then she pulls one out and she puts it in to like let her know it's business time. And everyone's like, oh, it's that old Bailey, and do the Bailey to belly for the win.
Yeah, that's her hulking up. It's just putting in the side ponytail.
Like that's something. You know what I'm talking about? I would be fine with that. I don't want a complete retread back to the old Bailey because I think she's evolved past that. She's we already know that she's not that person. But the idea that she could bring back the hugger, I think that's interesting. It'd be like a reverse Becky Lynch, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Instead of the man, you're all of a sudden like, you're the hugger.
Just one night. Just one night. I think that'd be fun. And then get the inflatable men back and like a resurrection for them. Because I still remember when she took an axe to those.
Yeah, dude. It'd be hilarious too if a couple of them had like
tape, like band-aids.
like duct tape on them or something.
Like big old band-aids. And they're like, it's okay, Bailey. We're still your friends.
Yeah, they somehow have a sign. It's okay, Bailey.
I think that's super fun. I think people want to cheer Bailey again. I think she's so good at being a heel, kind of like how most heels go. If you're really good at being a heel for long enough, people just want to cheer you because you're just so much fun to watch. And I think that Bailey's put in her time as the heel women, the main villain of the women's division. I think we have people like Tiffany in NXT and others that can fill that role now, and she can go on to be a legendary babyface. But altogether, that you have to. She could also beat Rhea Ripley. It's the same situation. Like that's one of the only people in my head, unless you bring back Sasha Banks or you have Jade Cargill win the freaking Royal Rumble.
Oh.
Relax.
Which I don't think you're gonna do. I don't think that's the move either, to be honest.
Not this year.
The report is she's only doing like 1 to 2 days a week at the PC. It's like, come on.
I think that they definitely pulled the trigger a little early on telling us that she was gonna be there. Like, I think they could have just waited to see if they got what they paid for. Like, you know what I mean? I love Black women doing well, and I want her to have all the championships, and I want her to do the best she possibly can. WWE is a very different style than AEW. It's a different sort of product that they're trying to make. So, like, there's just less room for some of the stuff that we saw in AEW. So I hope that it's a quick learning process, one that's full with like humility and understanding. And when she does show that it is exactly what they need, because she could be, again, what they need. I think the women's division now, more than it's ever been, has the building blocks to be like fantastic and not like second fiddle, not the concession matches that many people say they are. And they haven't been for quite some time if you've been watching. But like, I'm talking about marketability, damage control being a big part of that, in my opinion. Rhea Ripley being a huge part of that, in my opinion. Becky Lynch and the work she put in to make that happen. And I think Jade and Bianca Belair being a big part of that. And I think that Jade Cargill could be a thing, could be the Brock to that situation. We just have to get it there.
Yeah.
Well, and I know she was living in Jacksonville when she was with AEW. I don't know if she's still living there. So maybe that's the difference, is, you know, trying to get the move from Jacksonville down to Orlando.
Yeah.
That could be it with Jade. I don't know exactly. I don't know her. I don't know how she's living.
You don't.
I'll be real honest with you. If I knew her, I don't know how I would talk to her. To be real honest with you, she's just so pretty, and I would be distracted all the time. I'd be like, listen, like, I know we're supposed to be friends, but like, I don't know how to talk to you because.
You don't get to talk to goddesses very often in your day.
No, I don't. Like, yeah,
I do. Every day I wake up, I turn to a goddess.
Yes, your beautiful wife, exactly.
And I say hello, but that's me having daily practice, and even still, I'm still not. I'm not getting. I don't get it all the time.
Well, but at least you got practice. Me, it's always just like, hey, I'm top shelf, and they're just like, okay, but like the mustache and the red hair, I'm like, oh, come on.
You never know. If I learned anything from Malibu's Most Wanted, is that you you have a chance if you believe.
And who knows? Every once in a while, there might be a girl that has an Andy Reid fetish, Tom.
Oh fuck! Oh, I'm hurting my side with that laughter. Oh God, you hit me hard, NUR-D. Oh God, to pull a rib over here.
God bless everyone in the chat room.
Yeah,
who knows what we're talking about.
My God. Oh. All
right, guys. The ladies' war games. This was a great time.
Yes.
Shotzi, and looking at this, Shotzi's the only one that seemed kind of out of place, but she has some nice little spots in that match.
I felt like Shotzi was a little clunky.
I was going to say, there's a couple early spots where she missed a chair shot. It was pretty evident.
I feel like she wasn't originally supposed to be in this match. Who was that? Is Raquel out?
I think Raquel is out, yeah.
Okay.
I think that Shotzi, and God bless her.
She tried.
So she's I can tell that she really is just trying to do whatever they ask her to do. But like, she's so boring.
Yeah. No, that's spot on. Spot on. And
everybody needs a thing, right?
Yeah.
You need a thing.
Bring back the tank.
Yeah.
Here's the thing,
you guys. Helmet. Like, bring back what made her fun to watch in NXT.
Being crazy and acting crazy are two totally different things.
Thank you.
So when you think about I can't think of the girl's name. She was the almost superhero.
Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Nikki
When you think about Nikki Cross being crazy, I believe that way more
Yes.
than I believe with Shotzi. Shotzi pounding on the floor to me is like, come on, this is bullshit.
Yeah. Like, what are you crazy about?
Yeah.
Like, what are you crazy about? Nikki Cross, again, also, craziness needs to happen to your detriment as well as the detriment of everybody else. Nikki Cross will lose matches, not because she's been out wrestled, because she just starts going crazy and like stops moving. And then people just throw her out of the ring or not. Like, it's like, okay, this is clearly more than this match.
Yeah.
This woman is insane for quite a long time. She didn't speak English. So it was just like very much just like running from city to city, blabbling nonsense. But in this Shotzi, again, I didn't, it felt like the kids had to bring their younger sister along because mom made them. Does that make sense? Like me and my friends are going to the mall and we're going to have a really great time at the mall, but we
Make sure you bring your sister.
Make sure you bring your sister. And that's how it felt because everybody else nailed it to the raft. I love that match. I had a blast.
My favorite spot was when Io put the garbage can on herself and leapt off the top. My God, that was it.
So amazing.
I will say this: like when I saw that was supposed to be moment of the match, I disagree. I think Kairi Sane's pop up insane elbow in the middle of the ring, that was the move of the match for me because that was kind of out of nowhere. She so fluid. She got the legs up and she just
boom.
Like that would hit so
Shotzi too. Right
well
in front of on that chair bed that they sort of made. Like that kind of got dispersed a little bit, so you could tell it was a little like confusing on what they tried to do there. But the spot was cool. I saw the trash can spot in NXT when she did it the first time. One of the things about watching NXT is like a lot of these people who have seen these things for the first time on a big PLE. Like if you've been watching NXT, this is regular. Yeah. This is just stuff that's done on the regular. So seeing her when I saw the trash can getting pulled up, I felt like how parents must feel when their kids see Santa for the first time. Because like I was like, oh, y'all people don't even know what's about to happen. Like she's about to do this thing, and it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane. And if you've never imagine if this is your first wrestling match. Imagine if you've never watched a PLE before, and here are these women. They're going to town. It's 2 rings. It's all this craziness. This woman goes up to the top of a 15-foot situation with 30 feet in the air, puts a trash can on her body, and then leaps off into everybody else. Like that's why I said Damage Control. I'm sold on them. I was very vocally anti-Damage Control for the longest time. And I think it's because it didn't make sense. Nothing about them made sense. But now I'm like, if it's just these women. Ooh, Kyoto Sushi. We're out here.
Mike, you're a little bit behind on this, but okay.
If caught up, that's all
caught up. That's all we needed. Yeah. If we are doing it, I'm telling you right now, they are amazing. Io Sky, who I still think should be called Io Shirai. If like give her all the spots. And it's again proof positive that you do not have to have English as a first language to be a compelling champion. This woman is interesting. I like it. I don't know what she's gonna do, and I don't care that I don't know what she's gonna do. Put all of their freaking promos in Japanese, god damn it. Like I don't want to know. Like I want them to be the group that puts a trash can on their body and jumps off a cage for a non-title match. Like she just did it to do it. Like that's insane.
Well, it's funny you mentioned as far as just put their promos in Japanese. They did that last night. Shinsuke's promo towards Cody was all in Japanese, and it felt very New Japan like. I think that Kevin Dunn doesn't know what he's doing. Like you need to focus on the video. Don't go back and cut to see what Cody's doing. You need to focus on that video. Let us all get the captions, and then go back to the ring afterwards to see Shinsuke. And again, spoiler alert, I guess, but if no one watched Raw last night, I mean, why you?
Why would you?
Here?
Why would
but
you?
But that's what you could do, especially if Damage Control basically becomes Asuka, Io, Kyrie, and then Dakota. You could literally just have Dakota in the background, just slowly going like this as they're saying their promos in Japanese. It's very simple. It's very easy. Obviously, the technology is there to just put the goddamn captions on the bottom.
Honestly, just make them like the Shield. Make all their promos be filmed ahead of time. And what is their thing? Their thing is we control the damage. We are fucking crazy. Like that's it. That's our life. That's it. That's all we do. We run around. We run this. Give them all the belts. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, give them the belts. Why Rhea Ripley is still running around? She has no competition. She's her own thing. Give them all the belts. Have them run roughshod over everybody. And I love it. And then if you want to turn them face, you can have them teach Dakota Kai Japanese. It'll be super freaking heartwarming. And that'll be great. But
Dakota
until
just
then,
like at a desk in a classroom, just writing down.
To be the JICP. I want them to be the Japanese Insane Clown Posse. Give them all freaking weird makeup and send them out there to just be that. That's awesome. It's organic. It's happened just on its own, and it's like, come on now. That match was great. It was great.
Other things that got me excited. Of course, Asuka spitting some mist on Shotzi. Love that shit all the time, every time.
Mist, everybody gets it.
And I got to be honest with you, I was a little bit emotional when Becky and Charlotte kind of had their hug. I don't know why, because I'm still totally over Charlotte, but I just love that. Oh yeah, you can disagree with me. I'm not a huge fan of Charlotte. I just am not.
Charlotte should win the World Heavyweight Championship.
And she will.
No, not the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Hear me. Charlotte should be World Heavyweight Champion. The end of sentence.
Yep.
It is ridiculous that she's still fighting these little girls. Like, that woman could beat up anyone in the world. She's just okay. Sorry. Back to the
I was gonna say, we saw in the men's match like almost a cash in, right, of the Money in the Bank. I think you have Charlotte win that the next time, and instead of saying NXT World Heavyweight or Women's World Heavyweight or Women's WD, just all of a sudden, like, I've done all that. There's titles that I haven't even touched and come close to. And I think you need to set this up because Logan mentioned it too. Like, you could book Rhea the same way, going for the men's titles, because
they've teased Rhea and intergender matches over the last year a ton.
Yeah.
So I mean, I
think Charlotte's better for that. Again, I like Rhea a lot. I think Charlotte's better for that. She's got name recognition. That's one. We can't pretend like it's not there. It's there. Exceeding her daddy's title wins. But this is what I think. And I like the Money in the Bank situation. I love it even better for her to win the Rumble, the Women's Rumble, because, again, we need someone to win the Women's Rumble that makes sense, that could go after Rhea Ripley, again, because they've kind of had their back and forth, right? And then so you tease who she's going to go after. Is she going to go after Io Sky? Is she going to go after Rhea Ripley? It's this whole other thing. You have whoever wins the men's Royal Rumble, probably Cody, say he's going to go after Roman because that's obviously who he's going to go after. So here you have Seth just living the dream, or Damian Priest. Even Damian Priest, I don't know, somebody, you know what I mean? He's whoever's the champion, right? And then like 2 months before WrestleMania, Gunther, or whoever it is, it'll be like, if it's Cody or after Cody, I don't know. I don't care, because you have to get it at WrestleMania. So then it'll be like da 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 da, and they go like, I challenge Damian Priest. And everyone's like, what? Everyone's like, what's like, I have a title match against anybody I want, and I want to do this person. Because if Damian Priest ends up chicken shitting, healing his way to a title win, which is what they've been kind of teasing at this whole time.
Yep.
I want someone to beat him that's not just the hero getting their comeuppance, and this whole thing was just for a transitional championship. I want him to lose it to something that matters and that will cement his name. I'm not a huge Damian Priest fan, mind you, but will cement his name in the history books forever. And I think that he's the kind of person who could understand and realize that Charlotte, being the one that Charlotte Flair pinned to win the first ever woman to hold the world heavyweight title, would be amazing.
But don't you think that it's going to take some doing for the WWE to sort of embrace or even think about an intergender match like that? Because they have shunned it for so long.
And I think you would need a built-in faction of horrible people that people want to see get beat up to be able to do it. Like Dominic Mysterio could hit Charlotte, and everyone knows that when Charlotte beats him the hell up, it's gonna just be cheers. It'll just be cheers. The Judgment Day is a built-in group of kind of shitty dudes to be with a lack of really like any sort of attack. JD, Dominic. Maybe not Finn, because you're eventually going to want to turn him back to face to get some money.
Correct.
And then Damian Priest, who, again, I feel like can pull that particular thing off as like a reluctant version of this. And then you have Rhea Ripley, who is there to take the majority of the real big punches. You know what I'm saying? And then especially if you have, I'm booking way too far out, but especially if you have Rhea cost Charlotte the title to someone like Dominic, to someone chicken shitty again, and have them run away far away from Charlotte once the run is over. Do you know what I mean? Like, so there is already groups that can do it that are bad already. That would make sense. And that I think would be able to protect both themselves and also Charlotte and the WWE for the sort of gray area that comes along with intergender matches in the day and age that we live in. I think that it makes it a gray area because Rhea Ripley beats up men on the regular. So it's like, they can't say that doesn't happen. It does. So like, you have to make it the female wrestler's face and the male wrestler's heel is the only way that works. But I think they have enough heels you could do it. The Miz could do it.
Unless you have like Nia Jax or like Nia Jax in the Rumble, right? Like
that's just racism. That's just me. That's just racism. All I'm saying is Nia Jax. Seth Rollins has injured as many people as Nia Jax has, and people don't talk about him the way they talk about her. So, like,
oh no, you're right.
She's a fat woman of color, and because of those things, she gets more criticism than anybody else. They let that woman get in the Rumble. She got 619 RKO'd, super kicked, and they threw her out of the ring. So don't tell me that your blonde-haired, blue-eyed, fucking Adonis Amazon woman can't maybe punch Dominic Mysterio in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could make that happen. If you could just dog walk Nia Jax for 5 consecutive minutes. Like, I'm sure Charlotte Flair could take a bump from Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, for real. Honestly,
we're not even
I
talking
think
about that match anymore. I'm just saying.
I'm not trying. I'm just saying, like, that's the only time I've ever seen a woman go in and not be the face. Because even when Chyna was around in her title matches for the IC against Jericho or Eddie, she was the hero of those matches. She was the face going in. Everybody wanted her to see to beat those guys. One, because Eddie cheated on her or was being a shithead to her.
Mhm.
Jericho being what he is, like just naturally kind of being the heel, like that all made sense. And you're right, like you do need the women to come in as the face. So like if Damian Priest gets the title, that's a perfect shit heel to be going after for a woman to be able to take one of the main titles.
I just
One of the
don't.
main men
Yeah,
titles.
yeah.
I like Dom too, just because that kid gets the most heat
He
probably
is
on the roster
nuclear
right now.
heat.
I mean,
It's
that
not
kid
even
can't
about
open his
him anymore.
mouth. It is.
It's not even about him anymore. It's about like this is what we do every time you speak. It's not even
Right.
about him anymore.
Yeah.
It makes me
It's
happy for him though, because it
Yeah.
was a rough start for that kid.
It really was.
A lot of people were like,
Well,
he ain't gonna make it.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
you got to
that.
figure his dad is one of the most athletic and charismatic guys that has ever existed in the business. Like some of the moves that Ray's been able to hit and just be the baby face the whole time.
Mhm.
And then you are already a foot taller than your dad. Like it's like
But that's also the thing is like your dad's nuclear baby face has been most of his career. You can't compare to that. So of
And no
course-
one's gonna
No.
believe you, especially in
Right.
a world where nepotism is such an ugly
Yeah.
word. There's no way that you are gonna go through your whole career and never be heel for that reason. And I
Right.
think, shout out to China. But for real, I think that when you look at this match, the Hell in a Cell, not Hell in a Cell, the War Games women's match at Survivor Series, I think what you're looking at is the future of the business. I think that I honestly, with the exception of Shotzi Blackheart, who's just sort of around for the ride, I think that everybody else in that match, Charlotte and Becky, that moment, because JR, to your credit, when you talked about them hugging in the match,
Yeah.
when they first teased the stare down, I thought of The Rock and Stone Cold.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I looked at them,
Mhm.
and not as in like these are the women version of that. I thought of like this is like that. You have Charlotte Flair, who is the industry bred to do this person, and then you have Becky Lynch, who literally was like Irish step dancing.
Yeah.
2 minutes
Yeah.
away from getting fired and had become the biggest name in the company. Here they are in a mid-card match that is really killing the game. The whole place is going crazy, and they just look at each other, and you go like, at any point, these two could be the main event. At any point, they could do it, but they're putting over Damage Control. They're putting over these women because they know how, like, even though they didn't win, Damage Control ended up taking the loss. They put Damage Control over in that match, like, and like crazy much, like to a crazy degree. And so, like, I love that. I love everybody in that match. I love that match so much. It was almost match of the night for me.
Mhm.
It was almost match of the night for me. It's like the closest thing you can get without getting it.
Right.
Yeah. Both the War Games matches really were just top notch for me. Before we get into the next one, we got to talk about the giant return that happened.
I know who you're about to talk about, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's the best thing that's ever happened to WWE, and they definitely are lucky to bring him back because the truth will set you free.
The only way it would have been better if he would have been like, hang on, little Jimmy wants some chips.
Dude, for real.
Will not. I mean, talk about someone who you said that they'll just throw shit at him and he commits.
He just does whatever.
I mean, this guy, man. I mean, literally, I wish he would have gotten to come out in the arena because I think he would have got an equal pop to the other two. I really do, because people love him. Like, Hall of Fame career already by this point. And the fact that he just goes for it, and he just, the comedic skills on him. I mean, you two are stand-ups, so I mean, you guys get it. You know about timing and jokes and stuff. This guy throws the lines out when the post. It's just perfect. Like, the guy is always
2 shows in a row. Comes back at Survivor Series, is talking and promoting the hell out of chips. And then Raw hears about Jelly Roll and then goes finds some Jelly Rolls. This man is a saint. We need to be exalting him to
protect our truth.
Yeah, for real, man. Like,
protect this man.
He's so funny. And then Judgment Day comes back back, and he's in the clubhouse hanging out with the jelly rolls, eating and getting like everything dirty, and they're just like even them being dejected because their clubhouse is ruined by R-Truth. Oh, it like warmed my soul last night.
It makes what it made me miss, to be really honest with you? The 24/7 championship. It made when I saw him back on the TV, I was like, I hope we have a real reason to have him show up every day, because like the 24/7 champion, with all of its nonsense, it gave us a reason to see R-Truth every day, though. A logical reason in the show to give him a moment to do something, because he was a champion, so like he had to be featured in some way. I like him just showing up and being nonsensical in various places. I thought it'd been funny if instead of Randy Orton's music hit, it was R-Truth, and he just like came out and then was like, "Oh, my bad," and then just like left. Like that would have been super funny. The match
or
was
he gets
too serious.
RKO'd.
Yeah, the match is too serious for that. So then like it was like, all right.
I don't know, man. I think that would be great. We're all
actually though. Oh. Just say, oh no, I don't want in that match.
Oh, my bad. That's what he like. He's like wearing he's just like wearing footy pajamas or something crazy. I thought this was the bathroom.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to the back, and then Randy's music hits.
Yeah. He's carrying some Dungeons and Dragons. I thought you said board games. I love board games. That would have been amazing, but it makes sense that they didn't do it. So
oh my gosh, that would have been funny.
I'm happy for his return. I think it's weird that he doesn't wrestle, but whatever.
You got to think that's coming.
Because
otherwise he could. Because otherwise he could have just been back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, why'd they wait so long?
Yeah, if he was just
rehab it. Yeah,
maybe he just wanted to. Maybe he just was like, I'm taking a break.
Did he also come out with more music?
He might have.
I mean, he's been around for a long time, though. I mean, like he started his first go around with WWE was K-Quick, and him and Road Dogg were teaming. Then he went over to TNA with Raw and the Truth Killings and won the NWA Championship.
By the way, that was the worst. They had him with Road Dogg, and Road Dogg tried to rap with him coming out. It was like, oh no.
Well, I don't disagree. Believe me, I don't disagree. But like going over to the Impact or TNA, winning the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, and then coming back and being actually like a stat, like and making him a big deal. Like again, you don't have him go against John Cena as a main event if you don't trust the man to do his job. And yeah, this is in the realm of like that Miz stuff, man. Like you give him what you want, and he runs with it. He literally made a title that's a big gold record on a belt seem reasonable as an actual title.
Enough that Bad Bunny, the biggest artist in the world, wanted to hold it. Like I just like, you gotta put some respect on Truth's name. If they redid the Awesome Truth with Miz, now that Miz isn't going after the Intercontinental Championship, awesome. And gave them like a little
sorry, JR.
You're putting the JR to sleep there, Tom. JR before being JR was cool. Oh, that's so funny.
I just all that's saying. That's what I'm saying is that like Ron Killings, R-Truth being back in the mix is a net positive for WWE, and I hope to see more stuff out of them.
Yeah, and then we finish the night up with this guy, Judgment Day against Cody, Jay, Seth, Sami Zayn, and the returning. He's not in that picture. He's in this one. Sorry, Randy Orton.
Woo!
Randall Keith Orton made his return. And yeah, they did exactly like I thought they would. Right? He's not going to come out till it's his time to come out.
Yeah. I thought the Judgment Day had the advantage for some reason, so I don't know why that was done that way.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So you can bring him in all the way to the end, like he's the last piece. Like you have it 4-on-5, and then is Randy actually gonna So then you hit the music, and then that's why you do Judgment Day with the advantage. But
I thought the advantage meant that you got the last guy in because you had the freshest guy.
No, you get the first guy, so like it's always, or at some point there will always be an advantage.
One
to
more
you
of you than there is of them. Okay, yeah.
And then that last guy, that's when the bell rings. All of a sudden, the cage is fully closed. And,
match actually begins. I mean, you got some talented people in this one, so I mean, you knew this was going to be a fun match. I mean, I said this when it was all said and done after I processed everything. They didn't even really need to do. I mean, I get it, but they didn't even really need to do the Punk either because the Orton pop was just as equal crowd wise.
It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean and when you do really think about it, I mean, we know. I mean, we were in the Hall of Fame when his dad said, "Yeah, he was told he shouldn't wrestle again." Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he worked his ass off to get to this point. That's why it took so long. That's why it was like a 2-year full road for him to get back. So, like, that's a huge, because he's really the veteran, right? He's top locker room guy now.
Yeah.
Taker's gone. Orton is the guy. That's why when he's walking out that night saying 10 more years, it's because he's the last. You know, it really is that other generation. Cody, I guess, could be considered there, but Cody was gone for a period of time.
No, I would say Cody is the new school. Still.
Yeah. So, I mean,
he's new school still.
With Orton. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because Cody was actually in Legacy. He was Randy was his mentor. Another great thing Randy Orton did. I mean, dude, the guy, and he looked great.
He looked jacked. Boy came back ready for prime time television.
Yeah, he was.
I was like, yo, Randy. I mean,
looking closer to Brock Lesnar than the old Randy, because that guy like just came in thick.
Like, Randy, better watch yourself. What the hell? You're gonna hurt somebody.
Right?
It was amazing. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and I feel like because you have to take your L's with your W's. All right, never let anyone tell you that NUR-D doesn't admit when he's wrong. All right, I did not sign off on this Jey Uso experiment. I originally said that it was not working and that I wasn't into it. I'm into it. All right, I don't like the yeet. I don't like the yeet. I still, to this day, I will still say that the bloodline being able to appropriate Black culture for extreme profit is upsetting and frustrating to watch continuously happen. But that being said, my brother gets on me for this all the time. That being said, I really like main event Jey Uso. It's a lot of fun to watch. He shows why he should be where he is. Just a shot of like everyone doing the bit is so iconic. I hope that they never stop doing it. I think that's so much fun. I love seeing him someone who is just going to be a tag team wrestler otherwise. You know what I mean? And really being like, betting on himself. It's taking his, and a twin, no less. Can you imagine how much it has to be like, I'm going to be my own dude?
All right.
And like, it's amazing. So I was wrong. Let everybody know I was wrong when I said Jey Uso wasn't going to make it. I was wrong.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, like last night was one of those first times watching. I mean, this whole time with the bloodline, but it still always involved the twin, the family, whatever. But like last night, it was the first time where you saw him, and it was like, he's not just, half of the Usos is in the match with Cody and Seth. It was like, no, he's on the level of these guys now. He's a singles competitor just as much as these guys are. And you didn't even think about the Usos. It was Jey. You know what I mean? It's pretty impressive that someone who's had so many problems with driving while drinking or under the influence got away with making shirts after what he was saying all night in a drunk press conference.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they had sparked one up. That's what I think he was.
Either way, he was
definitely loud in that particular press conference. Him making money off of that,
you know what I mean?
Is interesting to me. I again, shout out to Cody Rhodes, who's just like, yeah, take that. Take that. You know,
dude, Cody is a gem. I'm gonna say this right now. Cody's a gem. I've always thought this dashing Cody Rhodes is one of my favorite things ever. When he was putting bags on people's heads,
It was fantastic.
it was
Mhm.
awesome. And I've met him 3-4 different times, and every time, dude is just the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Really is. We were walking behind him after Full Gear, and I mean, it was freezing cold out there, and he was still in his like half his gear. And hey, good night, Cody. Oh, hey, thanks for coming, guys. You
Yep.
know, still
Like-
stops to turn around and says thanks.
Very cordial.
Nicest guy in the world. But I mean, like, I think the thing is, we all saw what he did on the Indies when he left after
Mm-hmm.
things not turning tides for him in WWE because they didn't see it. So for me, it's always cool to see that he was able to come back. And I mean, dude, he is a star, and he is
Mega
he's a
star.
Rhodes. He's a Rhodes. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. That is a name, and that is a talent. And to see him in War Games, and I know didn't he do Blood and Guts once?
Yeah,
Which whatever, but you know,
yeah.
this is the first time actually in the War Games dubbed match, so
Yep.
that was cool too to see. You know, him get to do the match his dad created.
Yeah, I loved that. I thought that was really cool.
You know, and again, it was just one hell of a fight.
Everybody did well. I
yeah.
think I love the storyline that Jay is in right now with is like, again, WWE has been hit or miss with these sort of things, but it's like if you've been watching the program, it rewards you for watching the program. Jay being like, hey, the things I did when I was a part of this might have consequences to me now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they're like,
Yep.
yeah. Like, everyone's like, yeah. Like, Sammy's
Not wrong.
being really forgiving, but everyone's kind of just like, yeah, Jay. Like, yeah, you're right. Maybe these people might just turn around and punch you in the mouth. And, like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's really good. The whole Randy is going to hate me because I'm one of the people that put him on the shelf. I wish they would have done more with that. I wish because I kept thinking that Randy was going to RKO. I was waiting for it.
Mhm.
I was
I
just
don't
like, especially there's a moment at the end, if you catch the end of that match, where when they raise their hands in victory, that Randy and Jay just happened to be really close to each other before the hand raise. And Jay, you could tell that Jay knew I can't be seen being my hand raised by Randy Orton right now because that's gonna F things up for later. So
Yeah,
he just
so he-
quickly moves out the way
Yep.
and pushes
I
Sammy
saw that too.
over there. And I was like,
Yep.
look at this guy with a mind for the business.
Yep.
It's like, that was
Well,
smart.
Well, and that's how Drew McIntyre got involved with this, is because Jey Uso's on that side. I have beef with him or the bloodline, so it sounds like Drew's not gonna let him go. Randy said last night that he's gonna let Jay, like, bygones be bygones. Like, you're not part of the bloodline now, but I guarantee if Randy Orton takes a heel turn, it will be against Jay, because all of a sudden, like, you were there, you were part of it. You caused me to be out a year and a half, almost 2 whole years. You're there, and that's going to be driving him nuts. So it's going to be like Drew coming through first,
Yeah.
Randy probably second, and doing a lot of the same stuff. But I mean, yeah,
I
you
like
can't
that
forget that
idea.
stuff, right? And like, I like how they're actually bringing it back a little bit, because they haven't really done a lot of that lately.
I really
Well-
think that Jay getting the Crucible is a next step for him, since he's not going to have the title, especially now with everything that's happened in the last 72 hours. So, like, I think that him going through the list of people from the bloodline that he, like, essentially screwed over, and, like, earning their respect through, like, heartfelt, serious babyface matches, I think could be really interesting for Jay. Like, that's a fun story to see him do. Like, I'm gonna fight Drew because Drew's mad, and, like, I'll fight you, like, and I'll fight you in any match you want. Like, and it'll just be, and I'm not running from you, and
Right.
you like you deserve a one-on-one, and I'll give it to you, and I won't hold back, because, like, that's not who I am, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to show everybody that you're the better man. And, like, and I think he should do that a few times. I think he should do that with Drew. I think he should ask to do that with Randy, even if Randy said he's cool. I think he should go after that, because it's building Jay into main event Jay. He's already there, But now he can have the pedigree. I beat World Heavyweight Champion Drew
Mhm.
McIntyre. I beat World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton. I beat, World Heavyweight title Seth Rollins if he beats him on Monday. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he won't, but he, you know what I mean? So like the idea is that building him up is great. And this I keep saying Hell in a Cell. This War Games was a step to doing that, showing that he is in fact on par with Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Finn Balor. I always gotta bring it back to Finn Balor. Like, Finn Balor is crazy accomplished. The fact that he's just like a guy in the Judgment Day
and not even the leader anymore,
is wild. Like, he at any point in time he should be considered as a main event contender. And there's so many things in that match. You had Seth and Finn's rivalry. You had Cody and Seth's rivalry. You had Jay and everybody, fighting against everybody. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So I love the match. I think that was the match of the night, and it wasn't even close.
Well, I'll say this going in. I thought JD McDonough was going to fall like into a Shotzi role where it kind of getting lost, but he really proved himself to me.
Yep.
I think Dominic kind of got lost in this match. Like, there looked like a couple times he didn't know where he was supposed to be at. It looked like there's a couple miscues or mistakes on his part where it felt like it was kind of like, no, seriously, you need to be over here. And again, he's been doing all this as he's been going. He hasn't really been able to do the NXT through other than, now he's the North American champion, but he hasn't been able to really get the pedigree. JD McDonough's been doing independence in Europe for 7 years prior to be signed or whatever. So, that's the whole thing. Like, there's a little bit of mixture of that. And JD McDonough, obviously taking that RKO off of the top of the cage is, bravo.
Amazing. Fantastic.
Wearing the neck brace last night was a good touch because I was like, I don't think that landed very well.
You watched the show. I love it when wrestlers watch their program and act as if it's real. It makes sense he'd have a neck brace on. That he just took an RKO off the top of steel cage. If you want to sell the RKO as being something that people should look out for, here he is a day later, 2 days later, still in pain. Now you know that this RKO, it's like when what was it? When Rusev put the accolade on Roman Reigns with a chain in his mouth in Hell in a Cell all the way back in the day. And then he kicked out of that. I was like, then no one should ever kick out of this ever. No one should ever lose from this ever again. This is the worst version of this. Like, this should be an automatic win. And the fact that it's not means that every other version of it's going to seem lame by comparison. So when you take an RKO off the top of a steel cage because you've been thrown off by two other men, if you don't sell that days later when they do it again, or if they do something similar again, now we'll all just be like, oh, okay, well, you'll be fine. Right.
Well, I will say this, in the way I feel about Judgment Day, like, I'm okay with Priest saying he's the leader. It's really obviously kind of Rhea right now, but him taking the pin was odd to me. I really thought that was going to be a Dom spot, especially considering that, like, everybody on Cody's team is only, like, their only alliance is really towards Cody, Sammy with the pep talk before he was going up against Roman, and Sammy kind of bringing along Jay and Cody winning the titles, the tag titles, Cody's rivalry with Rollins, and then bringing RKO for, this match. Like, Cody's the only one that's putting all this stuff together. So there should be a reason for it. Obviously, him getting the win was very cool, but I really thought it was going to be on Dom because of the fact that he's the only legacy over on the Judgment Day. And I would think that would kind of pair well going forward. But obviously, we saw last night Cody's next rivalry or showcase will be against Shinsuke, which is great because you need to have something for Shinsuke to do right now.
Shinsuke needs it, and he deserves it. He deserves it, and I think they'll put on a fantastic match together.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree with Dom looking a little lost in the shuffle. Again, I think Dom shines not in match work. I think he shines in his character work. I think that's where you see a lot of why that's a good thing to continue. It'd be interesting to see kind of because like you'd think JD would take the pin after that toss from the top, but at the same time, it's like he can't lose because he just got added into the Judgment Day. So then why wouldn't they immediately boot him out? Finn can't take the pin because not that he couldn't take the pin, but like Finn shouldn't be getting pinned all that often. He's Finn Balor. And then if Dominic took the pin, everyone would be like, well, yeah.
True.
So like
that's fair.
Then we don't know what's happening with Money in the Bank.
Yeah, because now it's like
that's also because now that makes him look a little weaker with that briefcase. So now it
Yeah.
can make even more sense of, oh yeah, he's cashing in when someone's, you know.
I think he's cashing on Cody. I think Cody's gonna beat Roman Reigns, and then Dave Reed's gonna come in and just fucking ruin it.
I think the way I saw that though too, with Rhea coming down with that case, because the match hadn't started, right? So it wouldn't be a win for Judgment Day. I thought that was such a brilliant play where you now have it in the back of everybody's head, like, oh shit. And all of a sudden, I almost think Randy's music hit too soon. Like, I think you maybe should have had like the other referee come in, like, and almost get there to the inside the ring with the case, and then Randy's music hits, and it's like, well, shit, no, the match is basically started now. Like, we can't, like, oh, that would have just been just having that little morsel, you know, like just having that little taste of like, ah. So that's another thing. I thought like that could have worked a little bit longer, but
I would have liked to see what would have happened if they just cashed it in, and then there were two matches going on at the same time. It was the War Games match, which is its own.
You guys stay over there,
and then you have David chasing Seth Rollins around the ring, trying to pin him because he needs to pin him to win the match.
Yep.
I think that'd be really interesting, but I get why they're really edging, no pun intended, this Money in the Bank briefcase thing, because he only got a year, right? He's only got a year to cash it in.
Yep.
So it's gonna be WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, right?
Like, I think Elimination Chamber, because it's in Perth.
Because Money in the Bank's what, May or June?
Yeah. Money in the Bank's May because Elimination Chamber is February.
Yeah.
So you have Royal Rumble in January.
Yeah.
So it's just like if you don't do it, you have to do it soon.
Yeah, Elimination Chamber is going to be in Perth, Australia. So all of Judgment Day needs to be there because it's Rhea's home country. Yeah, and I mean, she's not obviously from Perth or whatever, but you know, it's the whole enough. You need to have them all there. Yeah. I think he's not even part of that match. I think you end up seeing Finn in the Elimination Chamber match, and then Priest comes out at the end of that match, whoever wins, because Elimination Chamber doesn't mean diddly shit unless you have a title up online. Like, all these number one contender Elimination Chambers didn't mean
that, or what it used to be is you got a shot at Mania.
Yeah,
right.
But I like the idea of it being in the championship. The one last time before the championship gets locked in from WrestleMania. I like that as a concept for Elimination Chamber. I liked when Bray Wyatt, RIP, won it in Elimination Chamber to the shock of everybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Seth losing the title at Elimination Chamber makes a lot of sense, and having him be able to try to go to Rumble to make a little bit more of. Okay, I will say this about Seth because I have my other negative thing is about Seth, but Seth is so much like Triple H, it's crazy. I think Seth is so much like Triple H, it's crazy, and it's not always positive because I think Seth went into business for himself at the end of that. With the return, I think that we are talking about someone who didn't need the boost right now.
Yep.
I think that he is an attention seeker. I think that I just don't think that was the best for business. I think it was the best for him. I don't think it was the best for business. And a young Triple H would have done the same thing. And so I don't know.
Reports are though that it was planned.
Yeah.
So, and this is what I don't like is the whole reality era, right? That we're in. because their whole thing is, Seth made comments about how he's a cancer in the locker room, so he had to look mad when he came out.
Why?
And he also cut a promo on him at the house show last night.
Yeah. There's a
Uh,
bunch of stuff he said recently.
yeah,
And on
then
Twitter before, and just
yeah,
like,
and then also the stuff with Drew McIntyre, where apparently he stormed out of the locker room and he was upset and still a little fuzzy on what that was all about because it sounded like that happened before the return.
I think Drew's just sort of like rightfully upset at his
But
position.
he's also in contract limbo right now.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's deserved. If I'm going to be honest, I think it's deserved. When Drew was going against Seth for the world title and he was talking about everything that he's done for the company up until this point, I remember when I heard that in the promo, I said, it's about time. Like, I'm glad that they're letting him say this, and I hope that it leads to a win. Because while Seth is a champion, surely he doesn't need to be world heavyweight champion for much longer. Drew McIntyre deserves to win in front of a group of people. He earned that. He earned that. And so when they had him lose against Seth in a very undramatic fashion, I remember going like, well, what would you do? And then being like, oh, you're still mad at Jay. Okay. I guess that can be a big, because the story of that match was, what is Drew going to do? And then it became, is Randy coming? And then it ended with, well, guess who's back? Someone who has nothing to do with the match at all. So, I honestly, if I was Drew, I'd be annoyed because you keep pitching me these stories where I'm central to what's going on. And then you keep bumping me for the next so-and-so. And I was here for you when you didn't know what was going to happen next. And I held that shit for you for an entire limbo of time. And we went back to my home country and you couldn't give me the win. And then any other time.
And then you made me sing in the ring at the end of the show.
Like a loser. Like a loser.
Yep.
So I can understand Drew McIntyre leaving before even that all happened. I would be pissed just from the Randy angle. And not that Randy coming back is a bad thing. It was just the story was Drew McIntyre, and then it became Randy, and then it became CM Punk. Then it became literally nobody in the match. And I feel that. And I hope he gets what he needs to either stay. Again, him beating Gunther, giving the Intercontinental Championship, thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
That's a way to do it. Give him a belt. He deserves it.
Let him do that. God, why not?
Why not? They put on the classics anyway, so let him run it back one more time. Okay, but the match itself, great.
It was great. Okay, everybody talked about it all week. It was, is he going to be there? Is he not going to be there? Is he going to be there? And since he left AEW, the debate is he going to go there? Is he going to sign? I will admit, I'm one of the people that said there's no way WWE's not going to. They're not going to do that. So here's the thing. Okay, CM Punk makes his return. Place goes nuts at Chicago. Ooh, and obviously now this is like a hot ticket thing in the world of wrestling. Everybody's got a take on it. So I'm going to tell you guys my take, guys, and then I want to hear everybody else's because, again, this has been quite the hot button issue this last couple of days. Now, personally, as someone who has been in independent locker rooms, worked around talent, and just knows the respect that goes into the shows and all that stuff, I'm not a huge CM Punk fan in that aspect because he really did burn a lot of bridges for real. And also just I don't know, the locker rooms, nothing's going to ever get done if you're talking shit about each other. And he had a golden ticket at AEW. That's the thing. He hated WWE because you can't do what he wants and they won't do this for me and they squashed this before it got this far. All this stuff. You finally get somewhere where you're going to be able to do all that stuff and they're going to let you. But because you said stuff about the other guys who started the company, basically, it didn't work out. Now, as a wrestling fan, putting all that stuff aside, it was a huge pop. It was a huge him being there, even though you knew there was a chance it was a thing. I'm Interested to see this stuff with Rollins because obviously that's what's happening now. That's the big thing because I do think technically it could be a fun match. But here's my thing with CM Punk overall. That's awesome, Tovar. I love it. Love it.
Get it.
What a dickhead.
Live your life. Chase your bliss.
Here's my thing with Punk. He has the whole thing is he's the best in the world. Right? But it's always been self-proclaimed. I think he was always really, really good. Can you say he was best in the world when he was in WWE first time around? I don't think he ever got to the heights of certain people. I don't think he was a Chris Jericho. I don't think he was a Randy Orton. I don't think he obviously, he did the shit with Cena, but he never got as big as Cena. He never got as big as Austin, The Rock, or any of these Taker. He never got to their level or higher. He feuded with them, and he had really good programs and stories, but I think personal things with him also had effect on a lot of those outcomes behind the stage because it's known that he's never been easy to work with. And towards the end, especially with AEW, it's kind of like, hey, man, I just don't think you like wrestling anymore. And I kind of still feel like that. I feel like this is literally a paycheck for him because no one else wanted him.
Well, it's what he said right at the end.
And I know that's what he said that in the ring. He's like, I'm not here to make, but like, I think legitimately he realized like, oh, I'm actually not that talented outside of wrestling when I tried to do all this other stuff, or people don't really want to use me for a lot of this stuff. Like, I got to go back to where I can make my bread and butter. Yeah. Interesting call by Triple H. Very interesting call. I you got to remember too, Triple H is the one that took all the shit for the Click. So he also does know what it's like to be punished for quite a while. So, maybe that is him really being like, okay, second chances. But, as a fan, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Overall, I can do without him. He doesn't need to be in wrestling anymore, in my opinion.
All right, let me do this real quick, and then I'll shut up. I agree with most of what you say, Ace. I think that, and Tom, you know about this, and NUR-D, you probably know about this in the music business. There are some people that are exceptionally talented, but don't get booked on stuff because they're a gigantic pain in the ass to work with. That's why I was so surprised that Punk came back. As a wrestling fan, I loved it. I mean, it's like, God, you just love when somebody makes that return. I like the shenanigans, as my son calls it.
Yep.
When it's an unexpected surprise and you love it. But having said that, here's Punk. Is he good? I mean, how long is he going to last? Will he last a year with WWE? I kind of feel like not. That's it. I'm done.
Well, I'll jump in here, and then we'll let the great NUR-D have the last cut on this. My biggest problem was, one, he always wants to return in Chicago. He's such a putz in that way because anybody should be able to get a hometown pop. And he lives for that to the point where it's almost sickening. Now, obviously, NUR-D pointed out as far as like Seth Rollins kind of doing the overreacting, it sounded like that was actually planned from that point. But in my heart, to know that he did that and it overshadows how that main event ended irritates the ever-loving shit out of me. And then having to watch all of Raw because he's the final segment. And then not even on a live in-arena mic, he says to the camera, I'm here to make money, not make friends. And if that was the case when you went to AEW, you should have said that from the beginning too, because no one cares if you're corporate man Punk at that point, because hey, if you're just in for the money, cool, then the title doesn't matter. But now you get to go everywhere else and say you're a champion everywhere you've been. ROH, AEW, WWE. You've been a champion everywhere you get to go. But if you were just in for the money, you didn't need to win the championships in AEW. You didn't need to sell it Hangman Page over there. You didn't need to do all this other shit. You could just have the promos and done the matches, make the money. But to not say that in front of a live crowd where they're cheering you in Nashville is such a and I'm going to, it's almost a cocksucker move. And I know that might go against like some of the TS, whatever. Like it's such a bullshit move in my book. Like I know that like terms of service against Twitch or whatever, but like it's such bullshit because he knows that they're cheering him because of the return. There's Raw the whole night was saying 71 million across all social platforms viewing his return. 71 million. That's insane. But when you say that on a live mic, that you're in it to make money and not to make friends,
shout out Mike.
That changes your persona across the board. That. You only said to the fucking camera. So, Nerdy, let us have it, buddy.
All right. So I'm going to say a few things about CM Punk because everyone has to, apparently, if you're a professional wrestling fan. It is required. Number one, I thought Bobby Lashley was a better ECW champion. That's just me. So
no, for real.
If you want to talk about people who've never been on board with the CM Punk experiment, you're talking to the president of that particular club. I never got it. As someone who spent a lot of his life not being like not indulging in the beautiful things that is drugs and alcohol, I didn't really get it. I didn't really vibe with his bit. I liked the straight edge savior ride when he was like shaving people's heads and whatnot. I thought that was interesting at the very least. But real talk, the dude was like mid. I thought he was a good Intercontinental United States Championship guy. The pipe bomb interview was super cool. And I think that one moment has sort of confused people into the majority of what this person's body of work actually has been. You know what I mean? So like I'm talking about like in ring. I agree with Big Ace because best in the world is a real big title to give yourself when you are not Shawn Michaels. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not even trying to say someone who is like let me even say this. Best in the world is a very big title to give yourself when you're not Kofi Kingston. Like I'm just saying like you're the best in the world. Because you have Kota Ibushi out here. You have the world. Like that is the most white man from Chicago statement I've ever heard in my life. So like I've never been a part of the CM Punk experiment. That being said, I love a good story. And like JR was talking about, I love a good shenanigan. I do. And so I loved it when Cody Rhodes came back to WWE because people said Cody Rhodes coming back to WWE was just as nonsensical at one point. You know, it was just he smashed Triple H's chair with a sledgehammer. You know, so it's like this whole like whoa, it's fun to be like, wow, nothing, we could never see this coming. But you know, and it's wrestling.
Well, they said the timing's right, and I believe the doctor that he had in the lawsuit that worked for WWE just stopped working for them. So and the time was really right.
The time was right. I can understand this man saying, "This is the only thing I can do. This is what I do. No one else will take me to the paycheck and degree that I believe that I'm worth, and I don't want to get my ass kicked again in MMA. So I'll come back to WWE." People forget that he came back during the pandemic too on that talk show, which is why I was like, this isn't even his first return.
Right.
He already came back to WWE before. So I'm not even that.
Well, that was hired as a Fox commentator, though. I guess
Fox
that's what they said.
But did they also say that was kind of testing the waters?
Yeah,
they were going to bring him back.
And so I'm going to say this: people hate Logan Paul and love CM Punk, they're the same dude. only one of them is
Yes.
in their early or their late 20s and fanatically interested in being a better pro wrestler every time they show up to the ring. And the other one
he's going to quit
CM
boxing.
Punk. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a person who is like just a kind of a dickhead who has a lot more followers than they probably should have. Like given like Logan Paul to me is better than CM Punk, and he's
100%.
barely even tried. So that's just me being like a weird wrestling fan and being like, yo, I get y'all like this dude. I do. I understand it. I also, to give you a pure context, I didn't like Daniel Bryan either. So like I could just be wrong. But like all I was saying is that CM Punk is just a dude from Chicago. He stole his finishing move. He doesn't have anything that's particularly unique about him. I like screaming clobbering time. That is fun. And I'd like to see that happen more. That was kind of fun. That's actually the first time I think that's ever happened in WWE. No one ever really knew what he was saying before. Yep. So like I liked that. And I think that'll be fun because I like the Fantastic Four. But like CM Punk is just a guy. And he's a guy past his prime. So if you're trying to tell me that he's going to come back and be at the level of main event status just because he's a legendary dick, is a real life legendary dick, I'm not in. And Randy Orton's entire comeback was overshadowed by this man walking into the ring.
Thank you.
And R-Truth as well. R-Truth as well. But Randy Orton spent all this time battling back from career-ending injury, wrestles a match, has a huge spot with JD. Like it's and then he just walks out and just like, oh, I'm back. And Seth goes, well, I'm gonna make it about me and blah blah blah. And I'm sitting here going like, y'all can't it's not your birthday party. Maybe just, wait for your cake like everybody else.
That got me too. I was pretty upset. I was like, dude, we at one point as fans didn't know if we'd ever see Orton back in the ring again. And now here we are, and he's killing it, and it's going to be awesome going into Rumble and Mania. And then all of a sudden, I had my nephews here, and as they were getting ready to walk out the door, I was saying, all right, good. Well, there's the logo. Good.
Yeah.
Punk didn't show up, and then all of a sudden they did it, and it's like, motherfucker, what?
Yeah, that's how it felt. It felt like real. Because here's the thing: you could have come out at 30 at Rumble. It's a month away. It's a month away. And it would have been just as cool. It would have been just as cool. But it's not Chicago, and that seems like a thing. Because again, anybody gets cheered in their place, and also it's because even the. Perfect example, Tom. You hit the nail on the head. When he went up to that guy in the stand and just was kind of laying on him, that guy was just shouting Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes.
He wasn't
exactly. That
CM
Mark
Punk.
just yelled it.
He wasn't sounding CM Punk. He wasn't excited. He was just excited that Chicago came out on top at the end of the night. I'm glad that he's got the support that he does. I really am, as far as good for you, young man. But as a fan of the business, right. You have people like Bobby Lashley. You have people like the Street Profits. You have the New Day. You have, and I'm naming black wrestlers on purpose. You have all of these people. Shelton Benjamin got released. You have all of these people that could really use the airtime. And the main event spot airtime is tight with everybody you have already. So it's like, look at LA Knight. Look at LA Knight. What is he supposed to do now?
Right.
Hopefully you beat the hell out of CM Punk.
That'd be amazing. That would be what I would want.
So that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Automatically everyone's going to be like, okay, Punk's going to go right into the championships and he's going to get titles. Fine. But, if you're going to do it, and again, you can't bring this guy back after he talked so much legitimate shit about the company's name for so many years and pretend it never happened, that you almost have to hey, you're going after the US title or you're going after the IC.
Yeah, it's not even,
you're not going at
It wasn't even like he was like, "Oh, hey, I didn't have a fun time here." He said, he was vitriolic, nasty
Yeah,
stuff.
he
And like, unlike
oh,
Cody Rhodes, who kept it mostly like in the kayfabe world of stuff that he did, like he was calling people's names, like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, I don't know. I'd like it for CM Punk to come back out, and all of a sudden you hear LA Knight's music hit, and then have LA Knight just be, because then who are you gonna cheer for? You're gonna cheer for this dude who
LA.
like walked away
No.
and couldn't give, because if you didn't have Cody win at WrestleMania and you put a title on CM Punk right away, what does that say? What does that say?
Right.
Like, what kind of example are you setting? And I'm not trying to say that every single promotional move needs to be for the good of the business, but CM Punk as an entity, is that what you want other professional wrestlers to aspire to be? It's already a pretty gray area as far as a moral ground in those locker rooms as it is. A particular energy is required to be a professional wrestler. A lot of these people, the egos and the way they handle themselves, we've seen decade after decade, year after year, we're dragging people kicking and screaming into 2023 sensibilities. And I'm not trying to say that that CM Punk is somehow like anti-woke or any of that nonsense. But what I'm saying is, do you want to reward the type of behavior that CM Punk is known to do with a position of just, here are the keys to the greatest wrestling promotion that we've currently have? Like, I think that's a lot. I think that's a lot to do. It's a lot to say, making the other wrestlers legit upset. I don't care if it's a work. Also, like the Seth thing at the end, him being held back by Michael Cole and Corey Graves. If it is a work, if they did plan it that way, how rude of them to not even let anybody else get a chance to pitch themselves for that spot before you just decide. You know, what did Matt Riddle tweet? I don't even know what Matt Riddle tweeted.
Something to the effect of, "Oh, you thought I was a problem with that guy."
Yeah,
a
and then
broken
like
clock
they're
can be
0 and
right
2.
twice a day.
Yeah. And just to kind of piggyback on you here real quick, NUR-D, if you, again, everybody I'm sure probably watched his promo last night, but it was kind of lazy. It was kind of half-assed promo. This is not a pipe bomb that he dropped last night. This is almost the exact promo he dropped his first time on a mic in AEW, talking about the talent he wants to wrestle in the back. It's like, you lie, man. Like, you're just lying.
But let's be honest, and this goes back to why I say he was never the best in the world. In WWE, when he was just doing the straight edge guy, he wasn't great on the mic. The only real time he was great on the mic was the straight edge savior. But that was
interesting.
And he was like doing the cult leader thing. That was cool. And then the pipe bomb. But the problem with the pipe bomb is people forget that it's like, it's not like he did that against WWE's wishes. They obviously gave him the live mic and said, "Go vent." They obviously cut it off to a point where they're like, "Okay, too much venting," but they still let him do that. The other thing that I think people who think, "Oh, he really is the best in the world," I think winning the title at Money in the Bank and leaving through the crowd and going straight to his apartment and his contract was expired, I think too many people read into that, and it's like, you guys do realize they gave him the title. Like, if he was really leaving, he wouldn't have took that title with it. Like, there's only one person that got away with that, and because of her, they'll never let that happen.
They'll never let that happen again. Yeah. So like it's improv 101. I'm not gonna, here's an industry fact for you. Improv 101 is always yes and. You can definitely get a laugh by shutting down someone's stuff real quickly with a hard no, and it might work once. It's funny to break the fourth wall once. It's lazy to do it all the time. The pipe bomb was interesting because it had never happened before. So then it was like, that's cool. But then he, I think, and his fans conflated that one thing to he's this rebel. What exactly about him is rebellish, honestly? He is from all I am unaware, straight white man from Chicago who wrestles and punches people and knees them in the head. What about him? What has he said, actually, that is more controversial than anybody else who's done promos? Like, they keep saying he's the best on the stick. Well, he's a really good Chris Jericho's better on the mic than him. LA Knight's better on the mic than him. Roman Reigns is better on the mic than him. The Miz is better on the mic than him. Like, who are you talking about? Where in the list is he falling for you?
Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal.
He's better than Jinder on the mic. That's about it, right? I mean,
you know what? That's fair.
I mean, Jinder's a manager now, and he can't even speak. So, like, sure.
Yeah, but, so okay. So maybe he's better than Jinder Mahal. But where's your line drawn? Where's your line drawn? And he did. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Yeah, Heyman definitely gave him the push up to be the guy. And when it was time for him to be the guy, he got overshadowed by The Rock and John Cena. And if you're the best in the world, that doesn't happen to you. Like if you're the best in the world, it doesn't happen to you.
Yep.
Like there's nothing that they could do. They had to give LA Knight the world heavyweight, the WWE title shot, because he took the crowd from them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he did.
You're not that. It happens to you in Chicago because it's fun for them to ruin the show. But it's not about you. It's about them. It's about Chicago. It's about being Chicago. But you notice they don't chant CM Punk other places, dude, because no one cares. All right.
Right.
So, like, I come back. Let's see you do whatever it is you're gonna do. But you broke your foot like 2 minutes ago.
Right? That's the other thing.
Like,
you just signed a dude who 6 months ago had a broken foot.
Drink your milk. Drink your milk. Get some
he's probably
potassium in your.
I was gonna say he's probably vegan stuff too. If he's straight edge, he's probably gone vegan too. No.
One good thing that we may get out of this though is maybe we'll finally get an AJ Lee return.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
AJ Lee
he didn't
versus
mention her
Rhea
last
Ripley
night.
would be dope.
Well, because she also, when she retired, she could have kept going for quite a few more years.
Yeah, I would like to see an AJ Lee versus Rhea Ripley. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah.
To just say one more thing too, his promo last night, he did mention the whole voice of the voiceless, and you're not that, especially with again talking about the locker room, saying you're the voice of the voiceless, and then off the mic to the camera saying you're in it for the money, not to make friends. That's all contradictory, man. You can't be the voice of the voiceless and say you're in it for the money, because that's not the same thing, man.
Also, that's what I mean, like,
saying, like,
voice
hey,
of
I'll talk for you.
Yeah.
The voice. Like he's always said that he was.
Who do you represent that isn't being? Yeah. Who are you representing that doesn't get the time to talk?
Maybe he's going to be a manager.
You know what?
How great would that be? That if all
actually
this
be pretty
ends up being that he is just a manager.
That'd actually be pretty interesting. I would. Who?
Oh, and some NXT. He probably takes like Cameron Grimes or something like that, or
Rich Holland. Rich the Fridge.
He takes Butch and just makes him Pete Dunne again.
He steals Otis from Alpha Academy.
Oh no! Oh no!
So, no, he still Cesaro. He's like, I can run with this kid.
Oh yes,
on,
he takes Otis and makes him stop eating meat.
Yeah, I'm into it.
He just changes everything for whoever gets under him.
Yeah, I just ultimately whoever it is, whoever is fighting. If it's not LA Knight, honestly, I'm not interested.
Like, it should be LA Knight.
If it's not LA Knight, I'm not interested, because like the only person that I would want to see talk to him, I don't want to see Seth talk to him. You both talked around each other enough. Just make out already. Like both of you. Like I'm being real serious. I don't care just go make out. It's okay. All right. It's 2023. Y'all want to make out.
Right.
Just make out. Like, just
Yep.
figure that out amongst yourselves.
Couple Midwest boys.
Yeah.
Work
Just
the
make it.
indies.
Y'all are handsome.
Yeah.
Y'all are handsome.
Yeah.
Kiss. Like, who cares? You know, that's what you want to do. But, like, I don't want to see y'all fight. I don't want you to see. I definitely don't want to see you fight for the title.
Well, that's just it. It has to be for the title if you're going to do it. Cause,
Yeah.
well, okay, hang on. I guess because let's be honest, you only have about a month and a half of storyline before everything.
Yeah.
Road to
Resets.
Mania.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, in all reality, they could do something. He could just lose to Rollins at Mania, or not Mania, but Rumble. But then the question is, who is Punk's Mania match going to be?
LA Knight.
It has to be.
Because if you're not putting LA Knight in the championship, which they can't now that he lost to Roman at Saudi Arabia, which I think was the wrong move to put him in that match in the freaking first place.
Mm-hmm.
Because now where is he? Because again, like I said, that's what kind of happens when you lose to the guy that beats everybody. I think that CM Punk can fight LA Knight on the stick. Would be interesting to see them go back and forth, even though, and it's someone his age and his speed. Because again, I love LA Knight. He's just, he's older, so it's just like they could kind of go at a pace that makes a little bit more sense for the both of them, especially CM Punk with his injury. Boom, still a major match. People go crazy just for what they're going to do. They can build that in a month's time, in 2 months' time. Cool. If you tell me that he's in a match with Seth Rollins, if you tell me he's in a match with Cody Rhodes, if you tell me he's in a match with Roman goddamn Reigns, I'm going to throw something. I'm going to throw something because no. All right.
That was my biggest worry. I saw his music hit and I was like, if this is the guy that finally beats Roman, I am going to be so pissed off.
Never. There's very few things in this life that, and honestly would make me go like, I'm done. Like I these are my people. I am an ambassador for this organization. There are very few things in this life that make me go, I'm done. I almost walked away with Naomi and Sasha Banks nonsense that they made those women. They said all those weird things about those women. I almost walked out then. Like I almost was like, I'm out of here, but I stayed because of what other members of color have said. So I stayed. If they take CM Punk and after all of this, it leads to CM Punk winning the title, I swear to God. There's no justice. There's no justice in this world. Give it to that little Cuban boy, Rhodes.
Yeah. See, you're not wrong. And the only thing I would say, like, if they put the title, if they give Punk the win over Roman, is to then say, well, The Rock is now interested in that match you threw out years ago that you fucking lost. Like, now you can have your win back against The Rock. And that makes zero sense long term. And I think JR is right when he said this is a year at most. I don't think you can make Punk, because again, the Summer Punk technically wasn't even about Punk. He made it about him. But all the other matches that were going on that summer were good, not necessarily his rivalries. So there's a long ways to go. And everybody who's a real fan of the business and not some guy who just roots or some person who just roots for CM Punk, there's a long ways for him to go to be in any title picture. I mean, he can't be going for the tag team because who wants to be his guy? Who wants to be beside him right now? He has no friends in that locker room yet because
he's
all the guys he was friends with are gone. Yeah. So he can't go for tag. He can't take Gunther's title away because that makes no sense in that realm. It makes no sense to take Roman Reigns. It makes no sense to take Seth Rollins. I mean, Logan Paul, because it's the same guy, as you point out, Nerdy. Like, as far as the fans are gonna, so maybe with how nuclear that he would be between the two, but that makes no sense either because you can't downgrade Logan Paul at this point.
No,
to give it over to an old dude.
He ain't doing no house
No,
shows.
he wouldn't do it. And Logan Paul's not gonna give it up to CM Punk because unlike a lot of the other people in the locker room, he doesn't give 2 nickels. He doesn't give 2 wet nickels who CM Punk is.
Well, the other thing, Logan Paul is gonna stop boxing, period, so he can focus on WWE. So I mean,
good. Sick of it. I'm sick of pretending like he's not amazing. The kid knows what he's doing. Like he is the United States Championship. He's the most United States person that I have seen wrestle in a minute.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
that's true.
You can't give it to him over Punk. You could maybe bring back the 24/7 title and give it to him. Like, like I'd be down with that. A cruiserweight title, maybe. You know what would be fun? Send his ass down to NXT. And I mean that seriously. Send his ass down to NXT. Have him be NXT champion. Have him beat Baron Corbin for that. I'm okay with that. You know what? There you go. He doesn't have to move a whole bunch. He doesn't have to travel a whole bunch. He can create that weird little cult that he does with the people who love him so much in one continuous place, and new kids can come up and get smacked down by CM Punk, and he can just do whatever he needs to do. Like, that sounds fun to me.
Yeah. Well, time's gonna tell.
I mean, but here's the thing: does he have the kind of sway to have like a CM Punk rub to him? Like all these other guys, all these other great guys, like a Taker, an Austin, even going further back, Hulk Hogan could give you a rub if you pinned him. Like, I don't think he has that ability.
He will. I mean, he will, just because, you got to look at people on the indie scene are going to be like, hey, I worked someone who worked a dart match once. That's enough rub for someone on the indie.
That's true.
He'll always have rub because he was put in major situations and he was put in big-time matches. He's just not as talented as all that suggests and what he will tell you. But
shout out Mike. Mike's really good. Mike's sitting where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Well, Mike is going to Dynamite tomorrow, so this is going to be a fun, interesting conversation between him and I throughout all of a Dynamite and Rampage tomorrow. So look forward to it.
I have a good time at that. We'll get going here. This is the longest we've probably ever gone. We only go long with NUR-D.
I'm sorry, I talked too much about it.
No, it's good.
It's good though, man.
Okay, what do you have coming up, man? Tell people where they can find you.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, again, my name is NUR-D. That's NUR-D. You can find me everywhere at NUR-D Rocks. NUR-D Rocks, like multiple Dwayne Johnsons. Like I say, it's usually pretty easy to find. NURDrocks.com. My next big stuff. So if you are a fan of tabletop role-playing games, your boy is a big part of that community as well. I'm going to be at PAX U this year over in Philadelphia. So if you find yourself in the city of brotherly love and part of the PAX U community, check me out on Sunday. I'm doing a panel on nerd music. And geek music in general. And then for music stuff, if you're back here in the Twin Cities, it hasn't technically been announced yet, but I'll talk to you guys about it because you're cool. At the Mall of America, December 23rd, I'm going to be doing a full band show there to end the holiday extravaganza with the biggest mall in the U.S. So if you like yourself some giant shrines to capitalism and your friend NUR-D, please make your way down to the MOA on the December 23rd. It's a free show, so it'll be super fun for you.
Wait a minute, you're no CM Punk. You're not there to make money.
I'm not there to make money. Actually, that's a lie.
You're there to make friends.
I'm there to make money.
He's going to get paid.
I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends. I will say I appreciated that because at least that was the only thing that I believed when you said it. I was like, oh, there you go. There he is.
Right.
The whole time he was talking, I was like, and then it was like, oh, there it is. There you are. There you are,
It takes
Peter.
me a while to get there.
There you are, Peter. Like very, very hooked. But all that to say, I have a bunch of places you can find me at. I'd love to see you at a show sometime.
Yeah. You just dropped a new video not long ago. It was really great. Again, we were talking about your show with the Minnesota Orchestra, which is going to be very, very cool, very special.
April 5th and 6th of this new year. So come out and buy tickets again. Make sure you get those Friday tickets, April 5th, before they're sold out, which is getting close here. And then we'll see you on the 6th if you can't get that. We'll watch WrestleMania in the lobby. I'm honestly thinking about that now because that sounds like a really fun thing to do.
And now I kind of wish I had tickets to the 6th because we really watch WrestleMania after because that sounds like a great time.
You just put it on the screen. I don't know the legality of that. We're gonna figure it out.
Oh man, well, dude, it's always a pleasure. I mean, seriously, we have such a blast when you come on here,
I love
and
it.
like I said, you've turned into our official WWE, guy. We talk all the big shows with you after they happen, get all the reactions. So
I love it.
the
Hold on.
crap thing is, we're gonna be on a cruise ship during the Rumble, me and Tom.
Ooh.
So we won't
Jericho
actually
Cruise,
see
yeah.
it. Yeah, we won't actually see it live, and we won't be able to do any watch-alongs. I'll have to even see. We'll do a show though, right? We come home on Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, we're supposed to. Yeah, the 31st.
I
So
haven't bought my plane
if I can
tickets,
find enough
so-
time in that Monday after
Mhm.
traveling. But I'm going to ask one more question here before we leave.
I got
So,
you.
NUR-D, since you are in the know,
I am in the know.
is WrestleMania 41 coming to Minneapolis?
So here's the thing, everybody who wants to know. I actually got an envelope not too long ago from the very people of World Wrestling Entertainment with that very statement. And what they told me was absolutely unequivocal. Get at the time. And we're really. So yeah, there you go. That's all you need to know.
Beautiful, beautiful. Everybody, everybody get excited.
What I just told you, I know it's keep it under wraps. Can't be spreading it around. But so one absolutely. So yeah.
All right.
Huh.
Tom, JR, you guys got anything this weekend or coming up?
Yeah, Thursday I'll be at the Bailey Ray's Roadhouse, somewhere halfway between Princeton and Becker, with Mark Poulos and Randy and Carlo.
Nice, Tom.
Well, like I said, you might be able to see me on Dynamite tomorrow. I'm going to be kind of corner away from the camera. Otherwise, to book in the weekend we're on the cruise, I'm doing the 20th of January. I'll be in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and then the 3rd of February I'll be in Chippewa Falls. So Wisconsin gets a double dose of me come early 2024.
There you go. And I know we'll be down in, I believe, Algona in February for Absolute. Other than that, that's the wrestling's kind of taking a pause for the winter. IWTV though, if you're on IWTV, Madhouse shows 7 and 8 have been uploaded and they are streaming live on there, which means the next show will be the Rochester show, which I'm very excited to see how that's going to look on the TV. So, yeah, so watch for that. IWTV, use Madhouse, 10% off your subscription, and check us out.
Yeah. Also, thanks for using my music for your intro.
Yeah, man,
that was really cool. I appreciate that a lot,
dude. That's the thing. That's that'll be it at all the shows going for, except our Halloween show. We do spooky shit that day.
That's fair enough. I like that. But thank you. I felt very cool. I was like, oh, that's my song.
Hell yeah! Bro.
Well, if you come up with spooky music, they'll play it during the Halloween show too.
I'll find some spooky music. I got you. Is dismantling systematic oppression spooky? Because I feel like some people are scared of it.
Sure.
I have plenty of songs that talk about that.
I mean, heel turn is a great.
There we go.
Yeah. All righty. We'll be back. I don't remember if I have a guest next week or not. Let me look.
This is me doing all my attack.
We don't have a guest. It won't break my heart. It'll be December.
It will be December, and I don't think I have a guest next week. We might have someone the week after, but I'm waiting on confirmation. You guys will be you two specifically will be real happy.
Excellent. Well, you guys that are still with us, we're going to go ahead and rate our buddy Only Logan TV. He was in here with the chat with us, so we're going to say thank you for watching. We're going to send you over there with Logan, and we'll close the show out from there. Bye-bye. It takes a while, I guess.
I won't stop doing it until we're gone.
I think we're gone. All right. Yeah. Let me play our close. Because we're still on YouTube.